Do you have the mindset for success? Or are you feeling frustrated in life or your career? Or stressed you can't find love or happiness? Hi, I'm Coach Riana Milne, and I can help you turn your pain into your purpose and passion by using my Mindset for Success system. Learn the motivational Mindset for Success coaching system that has helped thousands of my clients over 40 years, and it can help you too. It's time to create the life you desire and to have the love you deserve.
Okay, everyone. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Coach Riana Milne, and I'll be spending the next couple of hours with you going over some such incredible and important information. Hopefully, you're going to learn so much new stuff, and it's going to be an inspirational, motivational, and educational evening. Again, I pull from a lot of my archives. I wish I could memorize every word, but I can't. So a lot of it I have to refer to notes. But my whole purpose tonight is to change everything about the way you select a partner. You'll understand clearly the difference between an emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love versus toxic love. How incredibly impactful childhood trauma and past events are in impacting your love relationship success today. You're going to learn the art and psychology of dating successfully, a piece of that information, which is from my Life and Love Transformation Coaching Program. You're going to learn how to have more lovable, sustainable relationships. Before I begin, I just want to give a big shout out to my incredible new team that has been helping me grow and bring this all together for you. Francesca from Germany is on the call tonight, even though it's in the middle of the night. A godsend. She's been phenomenal for me. I've got Garv, who helps me on videos from India. Rishi's been with me a couple years from India doing my website work. Jen New on social media. Sue Jane from Malaysia is going to start automating my love tests, since I get like 150 a day now, and it's been impossible to keep up with grading. That's why I'm doing love tests tonight for the group. It's really exciting, and I'm very honored and grateful they're here. So I ask you to open your hearts and mind to learning this information and encourage you to make any new changes that you want for 2022. There was a class 1, January 18th, which was the 5 must-have secrets for success in life, love, and business. And January was class 1 that covered mindset for success to make your life and your business career really shine this year. Again, mindset work, it's goal setting work, so that you can feel incredible about all your progress you make this year. And this is class 2 of the series. Tonight is all focused on love, making the desired changes within you to create that life you really, really want. And of course, to attract the love that you do deserve. I want you to be really determined to look at love differently from this point forward and become the best you in 2022. And the purpose of this class is to serve my heartfelt mission to help all of you attract and have emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love and sustain it through time. That's the real thing. I mean, a lot of people can date and have a couple dates and then it just doesn't sustain. So I want you to understand the connection. And I want you to be inspired and know that this life and love transformation journey to create that life you desire and have the love you deserve is really just one step away. Okay, so it's so close. And it all begins when you decide. Class 1, I talk about the importance of the 7 Ds. And the first one is decide what you want, name it, declare it. And you want to decide to eliminate the past hold that is on you. And that's always unconscious and unhealed childhood and love relationship trauma or emotional wounds. My system is time tested and proven with thousands of people over many, many years, and their lives have completely changed. It has led to many, many engagements, marriages. I'm watching babies come in now. Couples that were on the brink of divorce when they came to me have been together since 2009. and 6 and 8, and I've been so honored to even be the officiant at many of their marriages. So I just love to see this continued growth, and now all over the world. Like I have a client in Sweden, I had one in Lebanon and Australia and New Zealand, and everywhere, Greece. It's just really incredible. This is what I want, and I'm impassioned to teach you tonight. And I know right now, this moment, you may not get that huge correlation between how does your past really impact you right now today in relationship dynamics and in attracting this sustainable love that you really desire. But I promise you, this class is going to make it crystal clear. Better for me sometimes to have my clients speak for me. So I have a couple little tapes. So I'm going to share one from my client, Kirsten. She came to me in her late 40s with a couple of teenagers.
Well, I had just ended a 7-year on again, off again relationship. When it was finally over, I realized was incredibly toxic. I was actually involved with a narcissist, which I didn't even understand what that meant until, I was in so much pain that I wanted to figure out what happened to me. I just was willing to do anything to get over this and move forward with my life. The one thing that you mentioned that really struck me was you had said that a lot of people have these unhealed childhood traumas that if they don't ever work through and figure out, it can lead to continual adult relationships that fail. And then we had that first introductory meeting, and I just feel like you understood me better than anyone. I've had therapy on and off in my life, but I felt like you really got down to the core issues really quickly in a way that nobody ever had.
That's the feeling that most people have when they start with me. They're going through these relationships and they can't figure out why over and over and over again they're attracting unhealthy love. After usually 2 or 3 of them, they're like, what is it I'm doing wrong? And I got to tell you, I was in that situation as well, but I'll share my story in a minute. I want to go over tonight's agenda. It's going to be about 2 hours, okay? Because I just didn't want to cut any information out for you guys. So 20 minutes, we're going to go over the 4 free love tests. Now, I know Francesca put that on your sign-up sheet. So you all had the 4 tests, and we're going to go over what those scores mean. Part 2 is 8 unrealistic expectations that can ruin relationships. Part 3 is what is the difference between codependent and interdependent relationships and what do they look like? Part 4 is an invitation to join my brand new singles group. It has the trademark dating to mating system as a part of it, and I have embellished it and giving you $17,000 worth of bonuses tonight. If that is something you find that resonates with you and you're interested in, it is going to be absolutely incredible. And then the next part is the art and psychology of dating consciously. And the reason I'm doing that after the offer is because this is really from the course. So you'll understand what the course is like, and then you're going to get a teaching from it. The last section, section 6, is live Q&A. Whatever it takes to answer your questions, I'm here to help you tonight. So I do hope you all stay to the end. I've got 2 incredible free ebooks for you. Just in case time ran a little short, I'm going to give you the ebook on the art and psychology of dating successfully. The whole amount I prepared tonight that I thought I better cut back on, I'm giving you the whole ebook so that you have it. And the other ebook I want you to have is the 7 common warning signs of a toxic relationship, because some people aren't even sure if it's toxic or not. So I thought this would be a good guideline in case you are struggling, and then you can see right for yourself. So that comes at the very end. I give you a magic question, you email me the answer, and then I in turn email you back your ebooks. And at that time too, when you're answering the magic question to get your gifts, you can ask me any personal questions that perhaps you didn't want to put in chat. Okay, so it's a good way for us to connect. Also, I do encourage you to go back and see class 1. Francesca will include that link also in the emails coming in the next few days. So you can see class 1, class 2, because they are bridged together for a whole lot of great information. We'll talk more about the healing of past trauma in class 1. Okay, so they are made to go together. Tonight, you're going to get a sampling of some of the deep and profound and important content and skills that I teach in the Life and Love Transformation coaching programs, which can and do change your life in all areas forever. It is a mindset system that I've been using over 40 years. And like, really 40? And it's like, I am 64 and I've been using it since I've been 24. I had a model and talent agency in Erie, Pennsylvania, We're small town people, wanted a big city life and to make it in the art and entertainment industry. My own daughter, Alexia, sang on 3 multi-platinum CDs, had a big television career as a host for HGTV, E! Entertainment News, and so on. And I put singers on the map, actors, models, and even a dancer who wanted to be a rockette, became a rockette in New York. It is all about mindset. And when the mindset is correct, it changes all areas of your life, including love. So that was really mentioned, and we went into that pretty heavily in class 1. Who is this class for? The one about love. Are you someone who feels like you've tried everything to find your soulmate, that great partner, and you're so frustrated with the process and you're not sure what you're doing wrong? Like I said, I've been there. Has nothing worked for you to feel better about your situation? Most people, when they come to me, like Kirsten, she was in 7 years of therapy. She never had the answers. And I put a quote from her on my website. I learned more in 1 hour than in 7 years of therapy, because this is a very specialized field, which is trauma recovery. And most therapists don't get this information. And I didn't get it when I was in my master's program, a triple master's in psychology. I understand that if you're in years of therapy, it's not working. You should be in and out within 6 months and totally feeling transformed and amazing about your life situation. You might have done a lot of podcasts and summits and self-help books, seen other coaches, medication. I can tell you many people who have started with me are on meds for anxiety and depression. I do holistic health, mind, body, spirit, and vitamin therapy, meditation. Everything works naturally and holistically with the mind. So my clients do not need medication. That's gone. They don't need it because it's really just a Band-Aid, because they never got to the root of the issues. So once we get to the root of the issues and heal them, and they do the vitamin therapy, which is working with the brain as well, they really don't feel the need for medication, which is fabulous. And if you have suffered with years of anxiety and bouts of depression, or you have that fear of dating, you just can't shake the loneliness, like you want someone, but you're afraid to go out there, or you feel like nobody gets you, like you're different, and wonder, will I ever find love? You're stuck in your story. Your thoughts and your communication is often about what happened to you in relationships in your past, where someone has really hurt you, and you're stuck in victim mode, and you just feel you can't get on. You're still pissed off, you're resentful, you're angry, and you feel violated. You may lack trust and are afraid to date. You hate being alone, but you're petrified to get out there because you don't know what to do. And if you do, and someone shows you interest right away, boom, you might get overly involved and get intimate very early because it's been so long since you felt love. So very often with this pattern, you attract instead codependent, addictive, abusive, and toxic partners. And when this happens over and over again, we call this RRS, relationship repetition syndrome, which is extremely emotionally painful. Then you just can't figure out what you're doing wrong. You see, years of childhood and love trauma creates norms, or what we call survival behavioral patterns that don't serve you, but instead they sabotage you, and then you attract the toxic partners. You really want to feel better about yourself. It includes self-love, and you want that emotionally healthy partner, but you just don't know how to get there. But no worries, you're going to learn tonight how to change all this. That's why I want to invite you to take advantage of my new offer, my new program, again, with a bonus gift package of over $17,000. So I took a proven program that I've been teaching for years, Dating to Mating, and expanded it. It's for singles or for people in exclusive relationships that are stuck and not sure if they're going to go or stay. Can this be fixed? I'm not sure. And I've had other people like that in Dating to Mating before, and they just loved it. And they got the answers they needed early on. And some of them went and were able to repair the relationships because they saw the light in that relationship. It could be healed with them because they recognize their own traumas. They said, wow, I'm codependent, I'm jealous, I'm too needy, right? So when we switch up what they're doing, when one person changes in the relationship, the whole relationship changes. So that can happen, or they instead decide, no, this person is not emotionally healthy. They don't want help. I want a happier life. And then they move on. So it is for anybody in any kind of state of being single and at any age, men and women, younger and older. Who this class is not for, it's not for those who want to stay rigid and stuck or stay right in their victim role the rest of their life. And you might say, well, why do people want to be a victim? Well, when they were young, this is how they actually might have gotten love. and care and attention. So if mom and dad were unkind, maybe they went to grandma, who was that kind soul and nurtured them when they played the victim role. So they learn that behavioral norm of, I'll get love if I stay the victim. And again, much of this is very unconscious. It's not for those who don't want love in their life. They'd rather stay safe, not go out and date. They'd rather be alone. And I really don't know anybody like that. You know, you can get beyond the fear for sure. Or if it's not for anyone that can't look at themselves honestly tonight, because if you can, you're going to learn a whole ton about yourself and what could be going on for you. So again, I'm asking you to be open-minded tonight to what you hear and be really brave and honest with yourselves when we're doing the test scores. And I'm encouraging you to change the ways you've always thought about dating and falling in love by chemistry, which science and research shows is one of the worst ways to fall in love. And the reason that is because the unconscious, the brain, likes to keep the body in what we call homeostasis. It is a state of safety, unchanged. It's a boring place to be, but not only that, it takes you back to the dynamics of your past. You've often heard of a little girl that had the alcoholic father and said, I'll never be with anyone like that, only to marry an alcoholic or a pill user or a gambler, right? So, I mean, this is some of the things that happen unconsciously. You know, be willing to receive the content, get involved, get active, ask questions so I can help you more, stay to the end to get your attendance gifts. Okay, so who am I? What is my story? Some of you know, some of you don't know. So this is going to be a brief summary because I went into it a little bit more in class 1. Throughout tonight, you're going to hear many skills and topics that I teach that change lives for thousands. I have been in business as a licensed mental health counselor for 22 years in private practice in New Jersey and in Florida. Certified from RCI as a coach since 2009. Got 2 different certifications, one for couples, one for singles. And I also went on to be CCTP, Certified Clinical Trauma Professional. And I'm also a SAC, Student Assistance Counselor, who worked with kids in the schools at every grade level, kindergarten through college. And the SAC counselor in the Northeast area handles the emotionally upset kids, the traumatized kids, those identified as oppositional defiant or ADHD kids. I also worked in a mental health unit with kids ages 5 through 19. These were the runaways, the cutters, suicidal kids, eating disorders. I am also a LCADC, licensed certified drug and alcohol addictions counselor. So I worked with healing and stopping addictions. Many of the patterns are addictive patterns, but yet unconscious. So I have taught these skills in the rehab centers, and I've worked with women from the prison system as well. So very varied populations along with my own patients. I found no matter the age, whether they were women or men, straight or LGBTQ, it didn't matter. These childhood trauma norms were showing up in the same way when somebody desired love. So it was just fascinating to me. And then when I went through a second love trauma, I have had 2. One, I was 24 and I had one little girl with another little girl on the way. And at that time, my husband took a large sum of money from my mother. It was $200,000. So when I was 24, that's like about $500,000. I felt very bad about that. And I took on that debt myself, even though I got nothing for it. And it took me 16 years of my life to pay my mother back. But I really felt in my soul it was the right thing to do. So most of my life, I worked 5 jobs at the same time, supported my kids, also paid child support to the same man. And I was a bankrupt at 26 and opened my model and talent agency with my first month's rent. No ability to get a loan. And for all the businesses that I've had, I have never had a loan. I've always done it with creativity and the mindset for success. So I've studied mindset since my teens. And the school went on within 6 months, and the first year winning 2 international awards. And I've had that business 10 years and I sold it off. And then I had another love trauma, and this was to a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In other words, socially, they were the perfect person, and we were so in love, and everyone's like, oh my God, I want to be you guys. You know, we danced all over, we traveled the world, we were so in love. And then he had a whole secret life, and that exploded on him when he was in a school. He was a school principal, and it became a big community scandal. So my business I worked so hard to build suffered. Here's Reverend Riana with a husband doing things he should not be doing. So let's talk about trauma. Okay. The first thing I did is empowered myself, mindset for success. I'm going in, I'm annulling the marriage. I served as my own attorney. And I was one of 2 annulments granted in all Atlantic County over 18 years, standing as my own attorney. So with mindset, no matter what comes at you, difficult transition, you always have a proactive way of dealing with things, which is extremely important. It's like, okay, I need some help. I'm going to go to some of my therapist friends. And I tried 7 therapists and nobody knew what he had. Nobody knew how to help me. I definitely had PTSD symptoms. But they really couldn't help me through love trauma is what I called it. The last thing he said to me as he was running away out of town was, I don't know why I sabotage everything I love. And I said, I don't know either. And I'm scaling through the DSM-IV, trying to figure out what did he have. And it was not defined in there. So that's what led me to my own research. And I knew his family history. And he identified with 9 out of 10 traumas, with a lot of them very severe. So that was what was my education. I'm like, oh my God, this is so important. I got to put this into a book, which led to my #1 bestseller, Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. 400 pages, and I still had more research. So then I put them into my workbooks, and I said, I'm going to design a course around this because I needed the healing. How many others out there? And when I had all this information, I could like really treat my clients coming to my own counseling center. By then I was starting to do coaching and writing up worksheets, and I keep handing out worksheets. They're like, Riana, you got to put into a notebook one day. I'm like, yeah, when I have time, I will. But I was so thrilled to be able to help others heal through their love trauma and understand where it was coming from. And then that's when I started going global. I took on many coaches myself to help me with that process. It's just that us as psychotherapists do not learn about trauma. And I have a triple master's. And the word childhood trauma was never mentioned in my triple master's. I was even like accused of like, oh, you're making it up. And because it's not in the DSM-IV, I said, I assure you, I'm not making this up. But if you want to think so, that's fine. I'll be the rebel. I'm going to be the rebel, the first one out there talking about this. So I originated the Childhood Trauma Checklist in 2012 and been coaching this ever since. Comparing that, the research, the Childhood Trauma Checklist, putting it in books, the research made me take a hard look at my own traumas because I could easily see his, right? And it's like, okay, what were mine? Because we normalize it so much, right? And then I thought, yeah, when I uncovered the naked pictures and the letters from my dad's mistress at 10 years old, I guess that was pretty profound, you know, and I adored my dad, so I couldn't say anything because I could have broken up the family. And I had a mom that could never say the words, I love you. An older sister that tortured me and bullied me all the time. I was in middle school and I was teased for being so skinny and gawky. The boys I liked didn't like me. Modeling saved me. I won a modeling scholarship by writing an essay, and that's what started to help me with my self-esteem. But I was horribly bullied, and it all was very devastating, and it made a huge difference in my life. And then when I knew I could heal from these past childhood and love traumas, it forever changed how I felt about myself. It was so empowering and so light, and it helped me excel in everything in my life. Whatever I set my mind to, I could do. And I went towards it without fear. And as I was learning the mindset skills, I grew my daughters up with this. And this is why Alexi's at 15, Mom, I want to be a pop singer. I'm like, let's make it happen. And it did. Or I want to put water wells in Africa. And at age 20, she started her water well project. She has 21 water wells in Tanzania, Africa. So when you learn it, and I work with a lot of parents, I want my parents to teach their kids, because this is the beginning of success and a foundation for the rest of their lives. So I have worked with kids. I had one, Carmen, who is on my Facebook page, and she's a mother of a couple of teenagers now. And I had her at age 11. And her childhood trauma was her dad was killed suddenly in a car crash. And her mom put her with me in my modeling school just to bring her some joy and happiness. And I didn't realize at the time I was working with childhood trauma. Again, that was way before my psychotherapy career. But she wrote the other day, she goes, Riana, you know, what you taught me and how you helped heal me and gave me that self-esteem and love for myself has changed my entire life. Here, I was doing the work out of compassion and love, and, you know, for this young girl that had such a horrible tragedy. So it really has been my passion work, and I'm very honored to do so. And again, it was so important. I took the message to the world, and that's my mission of helping to change the way the world loves. And then just this year and last fall, Forbes honored me in their magazine, and I was voted one of the top 10 coaches to follow in Wealth Insider magazine, and voted one of the top 100 successful women around the world from the Global Trade Chamber of Commerce. In 2020, I won Best Psychotherapist and Life Coach in my hometown of Delray Beach. So I was very surprised to be honored every time. It's like, why? Just for doing work that I think is important, but that was very cool. And like I said, I'm also Reverend Riana and the mom of 2 incredible, successful daughters and 6 grandchildren. So I share my journey to inspire you that no matter what you've been through, I get it, right? I mean, to pay my mom back, support my daughters, pay him child support, even after taking all that money, and yet not getting into victim mode and staying so front and centered and strong in my mindset to be successful and still go for my goals and dreams. This is what I teach my clients. We get you out of the suffering, out of that negative fear-based mindset and thinking and low self-esteem. So many clients said, I never felt heard. I would try and tell my husband or my partner what I wanted, and they just didn't pay attention or they didn't care, and they felt different from everyone else. 100% of us have experienced childhood trauma. That came out in 2021. When I did the research in 2012, they said 90% of us had it. And back then there's but probably the sociopaths aren't admitting it because there's nothing wrong with them. It's everybody else. I kept thinking, I really think everyone has it. In 2021, it was stated that we all had that childhood trauma. What happens is these experiences kind of stick to the unconscious. They're so deep inside there, they're repressed, and it does impact our behavioral patterns and the way of being, the way we feel, the way we think, and when we become adults. So that doesn't mean because of these experiences we're broken. No, we're all God's kids, we're all perfectly imperfect, but they just don't serve us in a positive way. So I cracked the code in identifying where the past traumas come from, how they're impacting us, why they are, how to heal, and stop the patterns for good. This unconscious control that these experiences have on us. And again, that also includes getting emotionally triggered and sabotaging the love relationships you really desire. If you feel you can't overcome your past traumatic experiences and get to what I call the other side of the healing rainbow, I can assure you, no matter how bad the traumas are, I can help you through that. And it does not have to rule your life anymore. And the rainbow I describe as you start on the one end of, I don't know what I don't know. Why did that happen? What's the matter with me that I'm attracting toxic guys? I'm really a nice lady. I'm a good mom. I work hard. I don't get it, right? So what is it? And that was so frustrating for me that no one had the answers except I had to find them. And then when you're learning all this techniques, there's so many skills between, and you'll see I work out of 23 modalities that I have studied over 40 years. So some people ask, so what exactly is it that you do? And it's like, well, I do a lot of things, and it's a combination of things. And I've been doing it so long, it's down to an art and a science. But on the other side of the rainbow is knowing these skills. They're automatic now. This is your new way of being, thinking. And people look back where they started. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I was like this when I signed up. I would never go back to that person. So you really do become a whole different way of feeling. So who is ready to attract emotionally healthy, evolved and conscious love, to feel more sexy and empowered and actually love the dating process and know how to sustain relationships over time? If that's you, put 1 in the chat. I would love to see that. And let's go into the love scores. There you go. Lots of ones. Let's do it, gang. Okay, so you have your 4 love tests, right? I hope that you have them. Pull them out. This is part of the assessments that I do in my Life and Love Transformation Discovery session, where a lot of people say in that first session, when I met with you, that's often what they're referring to because it's so enlightening to what they learn. Now, when I share the scores with you tonight, I want you to understand this is a general overview. I can only go deeper with the full correlations if I'm with you, because then I'm asking a whole lot of questions about your family history in the past and how severe did you remember that? And it's interesting because I had a session today and we went through all the traumas, and then later down the road, it's like, yeah, I was hit with a switch and a belt too. And I said, but you didn't name physical trauma. She goes, well, everybody was. So that's an example of normalization that you wouldn't even think it was a trauma because it was so common in your neighborhood or amongst your cohorts where you grew up. But what you'll learn with these scores will astound you. The first thing I do want to give you is a little example of that. I wanted to share a testimonial. This is Alicia. This is after her strategy session. You were so right about my husband. Every single item, and I shared my sociopathic checklist with her because I'm like, okay, Alicia, everything you're telling me is sociopathic. And I'm going to read this to you. I want you to see if this sounds like your husband. So I showed it to her in her Life and Love discovery session, and she goes, it was him. As you suggested, I looked further and found a secret life. There was escort services with multiple women he was emailing using drugs with. I felt like the word fraud that you used couldn't have been a better word. And I feel like I've been living with an imposter since the day we met. I just wanted to send you a billion thank you for taking that time to speak with me. Our first conversation stuck with me, especially during all the difficult times when I was trying to decide what to do, stay or go, questioning if I should leave him. And they had a 6-year-old child, so she was trying to keep the marriage together, but it was just so toxic. She said, I can't explain the feeling, the biggest weight off my chest now that he's gone. Keep doing what you're doing. You have saved my life. You're an angel sent from above. I actually was quite concerned about her and her safety and the safety of the little boy. So we actually created an escape plan for her during the strategy session. Why? Because I called for it. So it wasn't the normal 90 minutes I spend with someone, but if I see a need, I am there. That's just my heart. Okay, so we are going to go over the childhood trauma checklist first. This is the tool that I invented in 2012. And this simple test really tells us a lot about your past and how much your unconscious negative childhood and actually your love experiences are still influencing you today. What you're going down, you answered on that test, yes or no. So every yes is a point, okay? So you're just checking off how many yeses did you have. So if you scored a 0 and said, I didn't have any traumas, I'm going to encourage you to look again. Again, because research shows 100% of us have had childhood traumas in some form. And again, most of the forms are very unconscious, so you may not recognize yourself and your past patterns and may have normalized them so much that you're not seeing it as a big deal. But in actuality, when it comes to love, attraction, attachment, it's really quite profound. If you score 2 or 3 yeses, this is considered lower than average, which is great. However, then I have to look at the severity levels of this, and that has to be considered on a 1 to 10 scale. The more severe, the greater the impact, and the higher the severity number. So I usually find people with scores in this range have a few other traumas than what they actually saw for themselves. And again, that deep dive in that session, when I do the family history, I can then put the pieces together. And while I'm talking about discovery session, if you guys are interested, you would just go to rianamilne.com/session. And we can do that deep dive for you this week. You know, you already have some of the tests. Even one traumatic event could be blocking you in love. You may have had a perfect home life, but was bullied at school or physically attacked and violated as, you know, from a stranger or an uncle or something like that. So even one event can be quite profound and have a huge impact in your sense of personal safety, the need for security, confidence levels, trust in the opposite sex, and therefore blocking you and sabotaging you in love. If you scored 4 to 6, you said yes to that. This is where most people fall in this range. They can easily identify most of the traumas when they see it on the checklist. Some were lighter in severity than others. Like when I saw bullying, I'm like, yep, I was definitely bullied. But then came abandonment. I'm like, no, I wasn't abandoned. My parents were there. And then I had to give it some thought. It's like, but my dad was rarely home. And he was the kind, loving, gentle one. I was always said I was my father's daughter. But we didn't even know he was CIA and FBI. We found out later when he had cancer, and we got letters from Ronald Reagan and William Casey from the FBI thanking him for his many years of service. But then I remember saying, I always remember as a little girl saying, when's daddy coming home? My mom said, well, I don't know where he is. You know, is my dad okay? You know, where is he? Is he coming home? It may not come to you today. It may come to you next week. It's like, you know what? I did have that. And then there's something like called an emotional abandonment, where they were actually physically there, but not connected emotionally to you. Like they go from one office, come home to eat, go to their home office, and then go to bed and barely spend any time with you. So that could have been happening too. This is the most common area. Again, most people can identify most things, but we have to look again at severity levels, and I need to get more information to give you more interpretations. The childhood trauma checklist is used with the other tests that I gave you. So once I do all of them with you, then I start putting the puzzle pieces together, because you said this on this one and this here, it means this, right? A plus B equals C. So therefore we have to do D to solve it. So that's why it's a general score this evening. And then I give you solutions on how you can heal the trauma wounds and get help and understand, at least you know what happened in the past that's still impacting you today and why it is. You know, I say, because your dad was not home much, you are longing for love, and you stay in a relationship longer than you know consciously that you should. It's like, this guy is toxic. Why am I staying? Because you just crave that love you didn't get from the first male, if you're a woman, that you were supposed to love and take care of you, which was dad. All right, so there's a whole lot of different patterns that come up. If you scored 7 to 10 events occurring for you, don't worry, that is considered a higher than normal score, but together we completely do heal your past childhood and love trauma, considered high. And that means I know that you have gone through quite a lot as a young person, and my heart really goes out to you. But I want you to be assured, if there is a will, then there's definitely ways that I can heal this for you. Just have hope and know for certain that this can be gone. And there's many precise skills to learn. It's not one or two. It's not a quick fix, because if you're 60 now, we have 60 years of thoughts, feelings, and unconscious situations that we have to make conscious and change up into new patterns for you. And we have to heal the trauma that's stored in the brain and the body. We do work together over 4 to 6 months, and the entire outlook on your feelings and yourself does change, and also how you experience dating. And it's no longer fearful. It's an adventure. It's fun. You're meeting new friends, and you feel very confident about the process. Know that the systems are trademarked. They're one of a kind. And the Mindset for Success skills are part of that, as well as the Dating to Mating program. So what we work on is healing the trauma, getting over the negative fear-based messages, the low self-esteem, building your confidence and trust levels in yourself and in others, getting rid of the anxiety, the bouts of depression, the inability to keep boundaries because maybe a people-pleasing, overdoing for people to get love and feel loved. And that often happens when you grow up with very difficult parents. So if they didn't yell at you, you were trying to please them just to keep the peace in the house and get some love. When you come from that part, this is why we see a lot of codependency. So that's what I'm going to clarify for you tonight. What does codependency look like? So it's time to heal your past, right? And get to learn empowered communication. And that's going to come up on the next test, where that could be a problem for you. You want to learn to speak your feelings in a kind, loving, but empowered way, so that you feel heard. You no longer hold back on what you're feeling. You say yes to yourself a lot more. And that just brings more joy in life, because so many people are used to saying no to themselves and doing for everyone else, putting themselves last. So by the time they come to me, it's like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I have no joy in my life. I have no zest. I have no energy. I'm bored. I have no purpose. That's someone who's usually stuck in a people-pleasing mode over a lot of years. So my goal is to create for you that joy-filled, passionate life that you're really excited about, and really meet an amazing partner along the way. So the great news is, again, once you learn all these trauma recovery skills and the dating and relationship skills, you will use them forever, the rest of your life. The next test I want to go into is the Acoa Checklist. And this one I did not originate. It's from Sylvia Kay and Ronnie Fisher. And I was reading over this in my research. It's like, wow, all of this is also from people who suffered from trauma. So again, I put the puzzle pieces together, and I found this is a very profound test for me to use with my people, with my childhood trauma checklist, to really understand the patterns of what's going on. On purpose, I took off what the sections are about, because I don't want people saying, oh, if that's grading this, I'm not going to put anything there. So I didn't put the titles there. So tonight you can find out what the titles are. Section A measures your self-esteem, your degree of self-love, and your level of confidence in all areas of your life. Putting that in the past also indicates that there's still unconscious trauma around it, even though you think it's in the past. Section B is a need for control. And many people that grew up with children feeling there was no control in their life. They couldn't stop mom and dad's fighting. They were struggling financially and they couldn't stop that. You know, they just had no control, which kids really don't. They really crave security and a sense of control as an adult. Now, this can work very well in business, but horrible in relationships, especially the dynamic of a woman trying to control a male, because then the male hears criticism. He'll say something, you're not my mother, don't tell me what to do. But this need to control or have everything a certain way can really ruin relationships. But that's why I work with a lot of people who are successful in business but struggle in love because they can't figure out the love piece. Okay, section C measures the need to learn empowered communication skills. Now, my first degree from Penn State was speech communications. So I learned a lot about speech patterns and interpretations and how people feel around the way you speak. So I teach all of that to my clients. And if this was high for you, it's because most families, poor communication models was what you saw, was what you knew. I had a couple come to me in Delray Beach, and the husband was from the Midwest and the woman was from South Philly. Now I'm from Philadelphia, and I have a lot of Italian friends from South Philly. And the husband says, well, I'm here because all my wife does is yell at me and I can't take it anymore. Now, she's a South Philly Italian woman. And she goes, what do you mean I'm yelling at you? I never yell at you. She's got the hands going, the body going, da, 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 da. He's feeling like verbally attacked, but it's so normal for her because that's how her family interacted all the time. And one of my best girlfriends was an Italian girl from South Philly. So I totally knew what was happening here. And I just looked at her and I said, you don't see it, do you? She goes, see what? I had to work on all these communication skills, plus teach them when I work with couples, I have to heal partner A's trauma, heal partner B, teach the other about what the traumas were that they grew up, what is their emotional triggers, and how to communicate around them when they come up. So there's so much to teach. With couples, it's 3 entities. Okay, section D, this is the need to be liked. And if this is high, this points to me, and I do these tests before I see y'all in the discovery session. So it's like, okay, this points to someone being bullied. There's a lot of things here that they need to feel liked and accepted. This is also showing me there's a lot of people-pleasing tendencies here. So they usually went through some heavy bouts of bullying. And I got to say, I'm like 100% right when I see that. Okay, section E is impulse. And impulse issues are very dangerous for relationships. Cheaters have impulse control issues. And the mind is, but I want this and I'm going to just have it. I want that shiny red sports car. Even my wife says we're on a budget. Screw it. I'm going to buy it. She'll deal with it. So that impulse is what gets a lot of couples in a lot of trouble. Very often these people grew up poor, so they think, okay, I'm working hard, I'm entitled to have this, I should have this. They're also maybe attached to things for love. So this could also be someone growing up in a very wealthy household where the parents bought things for them all the time, but the parent wasn't really there. So they attach to things for love, and that's what hoarders are, right? They attach to things, and the things give them a temporary sense of joy or fun or whatever, and then they get bored, then they need another thing. So it does become like an addiction. And that last one, number 5, I do things without thinking about the consequences. That's a sign of sociopathy. And a sociopath uses another for pleasure, profit, or lifestyle advancement. No concern for the other. They'll never apologize. It's what they want. It's what they need. And they don't care about anybody. And if they suffer, that is what a sociopath is. Section F is measuring your degree of people pleasing. This is a strong sign that childhood trauma has not been healed for you. It's also a strong sign that you had very difficult parents. The important thing is you learn to take action. You start saying yes to yourself. You start giving yourself more self-love. Take more smart risks, we call it, not impulse, but smart risks. And I work a lot with my people around people pleasing and the right to say yes to themselves. I mean, I know when I signed up for my first business coach, Lisa Sachovich, her investment to work with her for a year was $85,000. People are telling me I was crazy. I could buy 2 cars. I'm like, but I don't need 2 cars. I need to have a career that I love. I need to take my message to the world, and I don't know how to do it. My daughter and her husband do. They're just too busy, and I don't want to be a nuisance. So I have to do this for myself. And a lot of people will say, no, don't do it. I have to say yes to myself. You have to really say yes sometimes. And once you start saying yes, that becomes more and more empowered, and your life just starts changing like crazy, right? So I knew she was the best at the time, and that's what I wanted. I wanted the best. I really wanted someone that knew what they were doing. And I trusted myself that I would do the work. And that's all that mattered. If I do the work, I'll get the transformation. I'll get the change. I'll get the knowledge. So ever since I've been in coaching, I've invested in 12 coaches to grow my career, everyone the top of their game, everyone, because that's the way to do it. And if you really want something, we only have one life, right? So you've got to go for what your dreams and your goals are. And when you're someone of trauma, you often always say no, but do it for everyone else. This program is about saying yes to yourself and saying yes and starting to grow into all those goals and dreams that you have. So that at the end of your years, you don't look back and say, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. And I never did. That's a big part of empowerment. Okay, now we're on the relationship readiness quiz for singles. This is where you score yourself in 10 areas, 1 to 10, how well you think you have mastered this area. So anything scored a 7 and below, I say we have to work on before you go out and date. So don't date yet. Most times when people come to me, they don't have 8, 9s, and 10s here, right? Because most of us never learned effective dating skills or relationship skills. And they're like, obviously I don't have the skills if I keep getting a sociopath in my life, or a liar, or a cheat. Obviously I don't have the skills. So the skills that I teach are from deeper psychology journals. They're not just from self-help books. No, it's a deeper psychological art and science to relationship and how you deal with your dates. Cool thing about this psychologically is when you are all 8, 9s, and 10s, which is what we do in part 1 of the group program and the VIP individual program, we get all this to 8, 9s, and 10s. So by part 2, when you get all the dating skills and you're out there dating, you would never settle for anything less. You know the questions to ask on date 1 and 2. You're weeding them out. You're sorting them out. You are screening them. You know exactly what you're looking for. And when you've gotten yourself this strong and empowered, there's no way you're going to settle for less ever again. And one of our models is, I'd rather be single than settle. We will never settle again. And we are looking for that partner that is at least equal and 1 step higher and more successful, or bringing some value into our life. And I don't mean only financially, spiritually, emotionally healthy. Is he a good dad? Does he love his career? Is he moaning about it every day? You know, so we look for a whole lot of things to make sure this relationship is going to be an amazing team moving forward. It's not about sex. It's not about chemistry. It's about everything else. And when you have everything else, the sex and the chemistry is amazing. It's a whole different way to looking at dating. The red flag checklist, number 4. This clearly shows if you're in a toxic relationship or an emotionally healthy one. This warning checklist should make it very clear whether you should continue to date or stay married or be in an exclusive relationship with a partner that you're answered the questions for. And again, I look at severity levels of each behavior when I'm meeting with you for a discovery session. This is a general idea. So to have the emotionally healthy love, you have to be strong enough, again, to be single, rather settle. And if you're seeing a lot of red flags on here, you have to free yourself of the toxic partner to be open and available to receive healthier love. So many people are craving love that they hold on to the toxic partner or think, well, maybe I'll find it, then I'll let this one go. No, it's the opposite. Let that one go and then get the skills and open heart and mind to meeting a whole lot of people out there. If you want coaching, you're recognizing there's problems and your partner does not, I always advise you go ahead and start. Because the reason is you're showing your partner, this is not working, this is not healthy. If you refuse to get help, I'm getting help. And one of 2 things are going to happen. One, we heal your traumas. You're going to gain confidence, self-esteem. You're going to start looking amazing, feeling great, more energized, and you are ready to prepare to leave. But it's just a dynamic of a relationship. If nothing changes, nothing changes. One partner changes, guess what? Then the other one will change along with it. And if they don't, then you are so strong and empowered, you're ready to go. And then you know how to have a relationship in dating. Or the second thing that happens, again, your partner's going to be worried you're going to leave them. And I can't tell you how many marriages I saw that in. The guy refuses to go. No, I'm not going. I'm not going. The wife starts. She changes. She looks amazing. She's turning heads. And he's like, wow, she actually might leave me. And then he calls me, can I still come in the relationship coaching? Yes, you're always invited in. If my primary client wants that, then we invite them in. If they don't want it and they say, no, I'm done, then they don't come in. We're always working as a team, my client and I, for what is the best for them and what they feel. Because again, once they get stronger and heal the trauma, very often they don't want to, go back. I had a woman that was 74. She was ready to leave. And I said, but you've been married 40 years. You want to just try this? Just let me work with you and let's see what happens. And situation 2 happened for her. She was ready to leave and he didn't want her to leave. And he was the cheater. She cheated in their family home. So of course she had a lot of reasons to be upset, but she changed so much that he did not want to lose her. And then they bought a new home and they're living happily ever after. This can be fixed. And that's why I said, if you're in an exclusive relationship, we need to know that. All right, now about the scores. Items 1 to 3 around the kids are not even scored because not everybody has children. But certainly if you said no to any of those, would you want your partner to raise your child? Would you want your child to be like them? Would you want to spend the rest of your life with them exactly as they are? And you say no, guess what? You already told yourself, be done with this person. That's it. Stop dating. Because I got to tell you, working with so many kids that were upset in schools and the mental health wards, why would you be with someone that's going to be hurting your kids emotionally? Ask yourself, why am I with this person? It really is up to you to protect the mental health of your child. So don't let childhood trauma go through another generation. All the research shows it goes through 3 generations. You have to get coaching help immediately, learn what to do, and then teach your children to be more empowered. Okay, so if there's anything against the child and it's a no, get out. And research also shows children are much happier in a single parent home where it's peaceful and loving with great guidance than in a home where there's a lot of fighting. So staying together for the kids is the worst thing you could do when there's a lot of toxic things going on. The rest of the tasks you answer yes to, it's 1 point. Obviously, the more points you have, the more toxic your partner, and the more your relationship is toxic itself. So in section 2, where there's items 4 to 8, this is indicative of low self-esteem and codependency on your part within you and that you're settling. You should never accept someone's addiction or only focus on good sex or being with them for money or something else. I mean, be really honest with yourself. Are you settling? Are you codependent? If you are, we have to break those habits. Section 9 to 17, which is section 3, those items is severe toxic traits. This points to a partner who is selfish, narcissistic, or sociopathic. If they are married or separated or still thinking about and talking about and in touch with the ex in a romantic way, get rid of them. I mean, obviously, if they're a father of children and they have to communicate about the children's needs, that's totally different. But if they're texting them in secret and still sending pictures and stuff, it's like, okay, see you later. Like, the world's abundant. You don't need this. It's really bad they keep talking about their ex-partner and comparing them to you. If they have anger, rage, or blame or control issues, or irresponsible, impulsive, emotionally distant, and shut down, again, these could be more severe mental health issues depending on the severity level, pointing to bipolar and borderline personality disorders. So again, I need to chat with you in a discovery session to find out how severe are these things. Section 4 is items 18 through 30. These are also severe, but if there's just 1 or 2 and they're not so intense, you may have a shot at saving this relationship, but only if the partner is willing also. If they refuse to go with you to see me to overcome their past childhood and love trauma, you basically have your answer. They don't want to change. and they don't think anything's wrong with them. It's all you. We can't force change upon anyone, but I can change the client I'm working with. Like my client, Bob, who is married, his wife refused to come. She was in they were in couples counseling a year. Like I said, if you're with a counselor over 6 months and nothing's changed, the counselor's not working. It's just a waste of your time and money. Nothing was changing. He was ready to leave the marriage, but then he heard one of my things. He goes, you know what? I have to look at me. Like, I have some toxic things. So he called me, he goes, I do have anger. I am critical and controlling. I am a workaholic. And then when we dug deeper, he understood why. And he goes, well, I have to change this. And I said, you're correct, because whether you stay with your wife or move on to meet someone else, if the same stuff is still there, you're going to keep bringing that baggage with you. What is your preference? His preference was, I'd like to save my marriage, because he was a spiritual guy. I said, let's work towards that. And in the middle, you're going to know whether to stay or go. It's going to be really clear to you. And they are the happiest they've ever been, ever, in their marriage. It's amazing how this can work. So if you're on the fence whether to go or stay, after seeing this test, you enroll in the discovery session, get yourself started. If they enroll too, awesome, they're on board. If they don't, you get started, and then we decide what happens. Again, if you're interested in that, it's rianamilne.com/session. If you're a couple, that third session, partner A gets theirs, partner B gets theirs, and then the third one is free. And that's when I go over my findings with you. The solution is, before becoming a couple, right? You have to know what a good and bad personality type is by date 1 or 2. Super important. Don't get emotionally invested real fast or easy. Don't get physically intimate early on. You have to be in full conscious awareness when you're dating. You just don't go out and date and drink and have a good time. No, my people's brains are going while they're on dates. Well, how are they talking? What are they talking about? There's 24 questions my clients ask, not like an interview style, but casual conversation, that they are gathering information, knowing that most people come from trauma, but how healed is it for you? And if it's not healed, how severe is the dynamic of how they talk about their mom, their dad, their siblings? You know, there's a lot that we're looking at because there's a lot to learn. And then that tells you yes or no if you're moving forward. So you're dating with a whole lot of empowerment, because knowledge is power. Your full conscious awareness, listening, learning, observing, using all the relationship skills that I give you. The red flag scores is based on who you're currently dating, or who you recently dated in the past, or your last significant partner. Many see indeed that they picked a type, like their toxic parent. So now you know the unconscious is still in control, and chemistry is how you're falling in love. We got to break that pattern. Many of the tests I score when I'm here and I'm like, how could you stay with this person? Like, it's 50% red flags. Like, I'm like, why are you still in this relationship? I don't get it, right? So it shocks me sometimes, but then I know the fear of being alone is greater than staying in love and having breadcrumbs for love. So that's why we have to get you empowered and have your self-love more. The unhealed childhood trauma is really prevalent if you're staying with someone on this toxic list. You want someone that loves you and cherishes and respects you and is your best friend, right? So we have to break any of these normalized things that you might have grown up with. Can't change what you don't know or understand. That's what I decided that I knew, you know, when I was on the other side of the rainbow, starting out my journey. And it's like, when I understand it and I know it, I can change it. And that's what I do for you guys. I help you to understand it. So now that we know what some of the issues are from these tests and the basics of needing to heal childhood trauma first, recognizing the connections between unhappiness as a child, now we have to make sure you have the skill set and the empowerment, the mindset for success to get out there and date and find an emotionally wonderful person. I'm going to share another testimonial. When I was writing this session, my clients write such beautiful stories. He heard me on a podcast and he said, you know, he'd been struggling with romantic relationships most of his life. When I did the trauma checklist on the sample quiz, I realized I had experienced 8 out of the 10 major childhood traumas. I knew I needed help, so I booked the discovery session and ultimately decided to sign up for the VIP singles coaching program. And VIP is working individually with me. I only take 7 people in my VIP. That's why I also offer groups so I can work with more people. So I realized my whole life I had been blindly chasing chemistry and not really looking under the hood of who a potential partner was, if they met my needs, expectations, or what they had to offer me. In addition to that, he learned his own childhood abandonment, family addiction issues, and emotional abuse led him to seek avoidant and toxic partners. I lived most of my life in the victim mindset of wondering why I couldn't find a healthy partner. And it was initially a hard pill to swallow that I was subconsciously choosing an unhealthy partner. But the dating to mating program's been monumentally eye-opening in the understanding of why we do what we do in love. It's honestly felt like an awakening having the power of this knowledge, and it's hard to believe I've been fumbling around with dating for over 20 years without it. Beyond love relationship, the program also calls you forward to be the best you can be individually in all spheres of life. Since the beginning of the program now, he was nominated for an Emmy Award in his profession and won it, and took a major leap of faith to purchase a home to flip. He wanted to do flipping homes in the worst way, and he always said, no, 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 I don't think I can do it. Again, that's saying no to yourself. And what he said, where fear had me stuck, I finally went for my dreams, and he's on his third house already. So, I mean, this is what the power of this program does. You know, once you start saying yes to yourself, everything changes. So he signed up at the VIP level and is just loving life. He also had an amazing job offer, but he turned that down while he was with me. And we went through the pros and cons, and he goes, but I really want to do the house. So I said, then keep your job. You just won an Emmy Award in it. Keep what you're doing. You have great accolades there. And then you have also the free time to do your flip. So that's what he decided to do. And he's really happy. So, okay, we're going to go into 8 unrealistic expectations that ruin relationships. Are we doing on time? Oh, see, I could teach you guys forever. Okay, this is some powerful stuff. And John had all these expectations as well about his dates and how they should be. And then he was disappointed. And so this can really ruin relationships. It's a big part of why relationships fail or have a successful dating story. When your expectations are unreasonable, they often go unmet. And you'll get frustrated and angry or codependent or too needy with your partner. These are all signs of unhealed childhood trauma leading to love trauma, which needs to be healed again before dating or entering a relationship. When someone fails to live up to your expectations, you, again, become upset or angry. And there is a huge difference between having the love you deserve and being perfectionistic or unrealistic in your expectations. So let's examine this closer, because when you have realistic expectations, this will enhance your relationship. If they're unrealistic, it harms it. Here are 8 of them that many people fall into this pattern. 1, my partner should read my mind. Anybody ever think that, right? Well, if you love me, you'd know what I was thinking. You should have known, comments like that. No, we believe if our partner generally cared and it was a good fit, they should be able to figure out what we want or need. That's not true. We have to be able to speak our needs and our feelings, because this is an unfair burden that you're putting on your partner. And it just feels too overwhelming for them to constantly try and please you. Most people don't know how to have this style of communication because it was never modeled to them or taught to them. Okay. Number 2, 0 fighting. No, relationship is 100% smooth sailing. You're 2 different people with 2 different opinions and ways of looking at the world. Your needs and interests won't match 100%, and you should not expect it to. You should never force your opinion or scream at your partner or make them do what you want. If you want the vaccine and your partner doesn't, respect it. If you want President A and they want President B, who cares? Right? Let them do what they feel they need to do. This is called respect. But in other things, you also have to do what's best for the team. So, you're looking at the relationship as a team when you negotiate an issue. There's a whole lot of communication skills I talk around issues, okay? It's not a fast teach, but there's a lot that you are going to learn. There's never a reason to yell in the household, at your partner, at the children. The word discipline is from the Bible. It means to teach. We are to teach our children because honestly, they are not supposed to know better. You ever hear parents say, well, you should know better? No, they really shouldn't know better, because a child's mind isn't mature until a girl at age 23 and a boy at age 26. We are the one to model proper behavior. If we're yelling at kids to teach them, then guess what? When they're a teenager, they're going to be yelling back at you. Why? Because they learned this is how we solve our problems. This is how we talk when we're upset. We scream at each other. That becomes their norm. So when parents bring a teenager to me in my therapy office that says, fix my kid, I say to the teenager, said, do me a favor, just wait out of my office because I want to talk to your parent. And then the parent says, yeah, my husband and I fight all the time. I said, then this is what your child learned to do. Okay, so you can see that when you are learning the skills yourself, we have to reteach the children of all ages and how to communicate. So there's never a reason to yell unless they're in harm's way. If you're shut down, let's say your husband or your male partner is shut down, he might have learned, if I speak back to my dad, I'm going to be smacked across my face, or I'm going to get a longer grounded. I'm going to be grounded for like 2 months if I talk back. So they learn to be safe. I shut down. So a man that was taught this, and you're saying, well, talk to me, just tell me what's going on. His fear is so great. Cortisol's up, memory and focus is down. They can't put their words together. They don't know what they're thinking. They don't know what they're feeling. And that's true. If you keep going after someone to solve a problem before you go to bed, and he's like running away, his pattern wasn't, he didn't know how to do it. So I have to teach that, you see? That's why we have to break these norms. And it shows up between parent, child, and partners. Okay, number 3, the right partner will make my life perfect. Not at all. You have to make your life perfect. So as a single, I say you have to be a successful single first. You have to have self-love and respect and love your life and have energy for what you're learning and what you're growing towards and your passion and your work. And when you feel like so frigging amazing about your life, your energy is vibrant. You can go out and meet tons of people. We become the choosers because we have so many choices. Like some people are like, well, how do you meet good people? Like they're out there everywhere. Why are you not meeting them? Is your expectations too high? Are you too shut down? Is he not handsome enough? There's no chemistry. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons, but the world is truly abundant. You know, when you have a relationship, you have to be ready to carve the time out. Dating well takes time. Relationships are a time investment as well. So your partner will enhance your life in many ways. That's what it's about. And you enhance theirs, but you better have your own thing going on, a life that you're excited about. Like I have a client right now, she's really vivacious and she loves her work and she's dating someone. She goes, so what's your 1 year and 3 year goals? He didn't have any. He's retired. He does nothing. He doesn't read. And she goes, I'm bored to death. Of course you are, because you are in growth mode. You're excited about who you are. It's not the right one for her. This is what we find out. You have to build this incredible life yourself. Remember, your needs are your responsibility. You're not looking for someone to save you, support you, make you feel happier. No, you are to do that for yourself first. And then when you meet that partner, you're an incredible team and you go forward in life together. That's really different than coming across needy or codependent. So don't look to be saved or rescued or, just go out, I need love, I need love, I need love. No, you give yourself love and then you attract love. That's how it works. Number 4, my partner will always be available when I need them. No, they won't be. They have other things they have to do, other things they're excited about, as you will. So we talk about balance triangles, balance in life and boundaries. Your balance, it's me, you, and us. So your life and his life during your time is your career, your exercise time with friends. And then you better make sure that third leg of the equilateral triangle for the two of you is equally as long. You have this guy, it's like, well, I'm going out with the guys again. I'm with the guys, and he's giving you no quality time. You're not going to feel very attached. Okay? And you're going to have a conversation about that. It's like, well, I'm with the kids all this time and my time for myself is this and your time is this. We got to get this rebalanced. So whenever you're feeling off or a little anxious, we are always comparing where our balance triangles are. You identify the issues and then we talk about them. I'll always be the most important thing in my partner's life. You don't want to be the only important thing. Yes, they should make you feel special, cherished, and important. But again, people with passion have other things that are important to them. That's what we call a well-balanced life. You should have interests. They have interests, and interests you do together. Number 6, everything should be 50-50. It just doesn't work out that way. Very often women get to be more of the caretakers. Guys might step up to be more of the breadwinners when the children come, but both should be a partner in their home. Partner as much as you can with the kids, partner to clean up the house. I mean, nobody wants to be stuck with the horrible chores. So if your relationship's way out of balance, you got to ask why. Now, I have talked with some of my clients early on where they say, well, to win him, I did everything for him. They were in people please mode. And then as they get stronger, they don't want to do cooking every night. They don't want to do all the cleaning. And then the guys, well, she's changing on me. And you got to look at that. Well, you said you're going to be doing all of this and you don't want to. You're not happy doing that. But did you insinuate that this is what the relationship roles were going to be? That's another thing we examine. What do you want to do in a relationship? Where will you be an equal? Where will you help out? What do you not want to do? And that's something that we discuss as well. Number 7, all we need is each other. Now, the best possible partner for you can provide about 80% love and support. So it's really important you keep your friendships solid. Have you ever heard of those, women, they have a boyfriend, all of a sudden they drop you, you don't hear from them for months, and then they break up and they want you back? Like, that's not right. Keep your friendships up. Keep that love of a friend vibrant as well, because your friends will always be very important to you. Number 8, good relationships are easy. Not always easy, but when they're the right person, it's a lot easier than trying to force a relationship that's not right, or work with someone that's on the red flag checklist. So when your values and what you're looking for is aligned, it's so much easier, but you're always going to have to work through issues, and you have to learn how to do that. Exclusive relationships can be challenging, but when your expectations are too unreasonable, coming from craving love and attention that you did not get as a child, a sustainable relationship becomes impossible. Not only consistently dissatisfied with your partner, they're also likely to become frustrated and angry with you. This is when I hear from my husbands like, well, I can never please her. She's always criticizing everything I try to do. Nothing's good enough. So that I hear a lot. And then he enters into an affair with a girl that has no demands, and it's simple. It's carefree. So we have to question, are you putting too many demands on because your expectations as a young child were not met? Now this love person is trying to meet all of these needs that you haven't healed for yourself. That's where it comes from. Take a good look at what you're expecting from your partner. Determine if it's time to finally heal your past unhealed childhood and love trauma wounds, so you have the sustainable, happy relationship. And if you've struggled, most of your relationships, again, would be called RRS, relationship repetition syndrome. And then you're stuck in that no-win cycle until you get it fixed. As a CCTP, certified clinical trauma professional, this is what we focus on: healing the trauma, getting you unstuck, getting you to feel amazing about your life in all areas, and fixing a relationship or getting you an emotionally healthy one. Summer, you don't wait till things get worse. You don't suffer in silence because your angry partner doesn't meet your expectations. Get an outside opinion from a specialized trauma recovery coach. Find out what the childhood wounds are that haven't been healed. The most interesting thing I always see is most people don't even see their own unreasonable demands. They just don't see it, or their high expectations, or the perfectionism that's put upon their partner or their kids even. They've done it to the kids, so they feel like they're the victim and people should feel sorry for them. And again, they were a victim years ago when they were a child. That's true, but they need to heal it today so they're not being the victim role in their relationship or with their kids. The dysfunctional behavioral pattern from the past has become so normalized that they feel their partner is to blame. They don't love me enough. Okay, you hear that. And they can't see their own responsibility in this. So that toxic pattern can go on forever, as many love and childhood trauma behaviors do, until these patterns are fixed. I'm here to help you transform all that and stop these pesky sabotaging patterns. So, you can totally heal from this. So have hope. And again, you can't change what you don't know or understand. I'm going to share a testimonial from Lisa. She came to me in her 50s. She wrote this upon graduation of working with me. 18 months ago, I was struggling, lost, and helpless from a toxic, abusive, codependent marriage. Riana's supportive coaching techniques led me to find myself and make positive lifestyle changes after a difficult time in my life following divorce. She was very codependent, and she did not know how to live happily on her own as a single person. Okay, today I'm stronger, happier, and love myself more than I ever have. It's been an incredible journey of setting goals, focusing on the positive, centering on positive and spiritual energy. I would highly recommend our coaching program. I'm now in a wonderfully emotionally healthy and involved partnership and knew exactly what to do to attract this type of man into my life. With thanks and love, Lisa. And last I checked in with her, they've been together 10 years. So again, once you know what to do, it's so easy to sustain the love over time. It's a beautiful thing for me as their coach to watch. I'll share one other. This is from Oya.
Like the day that I called you, I felt so down. I felt so depressed, and I just needed help because I was so desperately unhappy. And you called me during the hurricane, and you stayed on the phone with me listening, and it was life-changing. I could not focus on my work because I was just depressed, I was down, and I just needed help because I was so desperately unhappy.
Now, for our listeners who don't know, Olya came to the United States as an immigrant at age 18 from Russia. So that was a big transition in her life to begin with, which is pretty scary for anyone at any age, and she was alone.
Oh my gosh, well, first of all, I didn't speak the language.
Right.
Started dating this, I remember the first guy, I thought he was like this big shot, and with my limited English, I started dating him, and later I found out he was the biggest liar in the world. Yeah. And from then on, things were just a bit crazy. So as a part of the program, you helped me change the story I created about love and relationships. So because I had all these horrible memories, and you helped me actually bring back the good memories and to rewrite the story so I didn't feel like I was unlovable or victim or whatever. It's just all part of the journey, and it had to happen for me to finally be where I am now. First thing that happened is that I was able to take it easy on myself. Second thing is that I was able to establish a new relationship with my father because I no longer judged him for the way he loved me. Yes. So that created so much emotional freedom for me that I was able to get out of this very negative victim mind. I was able to become a more compassionate human being, with my son. But I definitely did not want him to assume that a crying mother every single day was okay and normal. I knew that something had to change. I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. And then a couple weeks later, when he completely opened to me, like emotionally and spiritually, and really allowed me to see what probably nobody else ever gets to see. And it matched my inner world, my spirituality, like I never knew was even possible. I was like, all doubts gone. Absolutely.
That story is of Oya, who was in a very toxic, abusive marriage when she reached out to me. And like I said, I spent quite a lot of time with her on the phone. I knew she was very upset. I'm running around in my ponytail and shorts, boarding up my house for the hurricane in Florida. She decided to work with me on a VIP level. And today she married Scott, the gentleman you saw at the end. They have a beautiful baby girl, and her son Kai is probably about 8 now. And they live in a beautiful oceanfront mansion on the beach in the Carolinas. So everything she dreamed of and wanted in her life, and a man that was emotionally healthy and conscious and loving, she found was Scott, and she was not going to settle for less. So that's a short journey. I mean, the whole podcast is on Lessons in Life and Love on my podcast channel or on my YouTube channel, or even this one is on my website. So you can see the whole story, but I just wanted to give you a snippet of how incredible the transformation is and how it feels. And you can feel it when you read my clients' stories, which are very short for you tonight, but I do have a long version. If anyone's interested, I'll be glad to email them to you. I think there's like 100 on my paperwork, but there's a lot of them. I want you to understand about the interdependent and codependent relationship. What is the difference? Because codependency is just one of about 40 things that is a result of childhood trauma, but it's a common one. So I thought I would share this with you tonight. Most of us do value connection with others, especially in intimate relationships, of course. And the success of long-term relationships depend heavily on the quality of our emotional connection, but our self-love is super important as well. So when we think of the ideal relationship, it's often that wonderful, close, lifelong, warm, fuzzy feeling that we have with our partner. So how do you build that safe, long-term friendship bond with someone that we know who has our back and over time? It's that ability to love another one, but we still have a sense of freedom. They support our growth in our dreams, but we also have flexibility with each other. It begins by understanding the two different types of dynamics between codependency or interdependent. So what is codependency? Let's start there. It's where one person needs the other person, who in turn needs to be needed. The giver is the codependent person, and unconsciously they feel worthless unless they are needed by and making sacrifices for the taker or the enabler. The codependent person relies heavily on others for their own sense of self-esteem and well-being. They're enmeshed, meaning too close, and have this responsibility for the other person to meet all their needs and feel okay about who they are. These relationships have a heavy unbalance of power and promotes the needs and the control of the taker, leaving the giver to keep giving, and sacrificing themselves. And this is the result of an egotistical narcissistic who manipulates and has control over their more vulnerable person. So it is true that people of trauma attract people of trauma. When you are healed and empowered, you can see that dynamic right away. And it's like, no thanks, I'm moving on from this one, because you can see the codependency or the narcissistic pull. Okay, because you know exactly what to look for. You know the warning signs. So some signs of codependency, and see if you recognize this in yourself at all, is knowing that you lost yourself. That's one of the most common things, like when Lisa said, I didn't know who I was after this toxic marriage. And she did the people pleasing because she had a difficult father. And she knows, well, I know how to keep the peace. I just don't say anything. And I do everything for him. And then she just was so exhausted and burnt out and had no joy, like empty. It's a sense of walking on eggshells to avoid conflict and fighting. You regularly try to change, control, or rescue someone who's addicted, trouble, or under-functioning, like trying to help them get their career off the ground, or calling their boss because they're hungover after the Super Bowl. Oh, you can't go in today. Why? You drank too much. Tell them I'm sick. And you make the phone call. These kind of things are enabling. It's codependent. You need to ask permission to do something, or check in, or, ask if it's okay if you buy something, or you feel like you bought something. Now you got to hide it or they're going to yell at you. You feel sorry for the other person who hurts you and you make excuses from them and their bad behavior to friends and family, saying like, well, he's not always like this, or he's just having a bad day. Doing something uncomfortable you'd rather not do just to please your partner. That's often sexual. The inability to say no. You don't keep your boundaries. You say, no. He exhausts you, and then you do it anyway because you don't want to deal with it. Putting the other person on a pedestal, even though you know they don't deserve the high praise. It's a need for other people to like you, to feel good about yourself. Again, that could have come from prior bullying. You have no personal free time. The time is always dedicated to this needy partner. You often apologize, saying, sorry, and you didn't do anything wrong. You're doing that to keep the peace. This could be referred to as love addiction. Sometimes, it is more of a love addicted relationship. if it's more severe. Codependents often are one-sided, abusive, emotionally destructive, debilitating relationships. And both partners still suffer from unhealed childhood trauma wounds, linking them to be either clingy, needy, or controlling, manipulative, and abusive to their partner. Codependent relationships are not healthy. They don't allow partners to have room to be themselves, to grow, to get excited about new projects. If it takes away from their time, they're going to be mad about it. One or both partners rely heavily on the other for their sense of self, feeling of worthiness, and their emotional well-being. And there's a lot of feelings of anger, guilt, blame, and shame when the relationship is struggling. It's like, no, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's just this toxic cycle. Traits of codependent relationships are very similar to the unhealed childhood trauma wounds, which include poor boundaries, people-pleasing behaviors, being emotionally triggered and reactive, unhealthy inability to communicate your needs and your feelings. So it comes out as anger, manipulation or controlling behavior, difficulty with emotional and sexual intimacy, blaming each other and not taking personal responsibility when you felt you were at fault, low self-esteem of one or both partners, and no personal interests or goals outside of the relationship because you feel there's no time. You're just too stressed out. So that's the one we don't want, right? That's a toxic one. So what is interdependence? That is usually the emotionally healthy one, but there's one area of this where it could be unhealthy, and I'll explain it to you. But with interdependence, partners recognize the importance of the emotional bond they share while maintaining a solid sense of self within a respectable and loving relationship. They have their own goals and goals as a couple, each support each other. The interdependent person recognizes the value of being open and honest with their partner and is able to share their feelings in meaningful ways to create emotional closeness and intimacy. But they also have a value of self and their needs, and they have the ability to communicate them. They have the ability to be authentic without being needy or vulnerable. They don't compromise their opinions or values. They speak their needs in an empowered but loving way. Emotional intimacy with a partner can be difficult to achieve, though, and even scary for those with attachment disorders. So we're talking about the other side of, yeah, let's love each other, but I want to be over here. Like there's attachment issues. And that's for those who might have grown up super independent and don't feel they need others for emotional support. This is especially true in families where both parents worked or were not there much for the child, leaving them to care for themselves. So they feel being dependent on another person feels clingy and unhealthy. So as valuable as having a sense of independence is, if taken to the extreme, this can harm the ability to connect emotionally with others in a meaningful way. So again, interdependence is good unless it's at the extreme other side. Interdependence involves the balance of self and the other, your partner, within the relationship. Partners are not demanding and controlling. They're loving, they're best friends, they're support systems. They enjoy each other. They have a great time together. They don't look to the partner to fill their sense of self-esteem. They already have it themselves. They already feel amazing about their life. So it's two people feeling amazing about their life. And then together, they create more power. And when I'm saying this, I'm thinking of my daughter, Alexia, and her husband, Preston. Two amazing, outgoing, vivacious people who love life. They meet, and now like their energy is all over the world, right? Because this is a team that is so outstanding because they were both outstanding individually, you see. So the characteristics of the interdependent relationship has several features, and here's just a few. Time for personal interests, clear and confident communication. You don't speak with fear or anger. You take personal responsibilities for your behaviors. If you made a mistake, it's easy to say, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. And you recognize, I said that, but maybe that hurt your feelings, right? It's so easy to share that. Having good boundaries in a balanced life, creating safety for each other, sharing feelings open and honestly, engaging and responding to each other, being a good active listener, and having a great sense of confidence and self-esteem individually and as a team. So when partners feel cherished and valued, as you do with a best friend, the relationship becomes safe and a secure place where a couple can be interdependent and they understand each other, right? And the key to building this type of relationship is to be consciously aware or mindful of who you are, what you say and do. This is what we call conscious mindset, and how you act. Many times people are looking or entering relationships to avoid loneliness, or because they're needy, or they need someone to help pay the bills, for financial security. And when you're entering like that, you're from a place of neediness, not empowerment. You have to be able to create this empowerment for yourself first in all these life areas. You don't take it out to dating world and hope someone does it for you, because that will never work. You have to know your values, your requirements, your personal goals, your dreams, and what you want in a quality relationship. We discuss all of that in Dating to Mating. So taking the time for this personal kind of healing, the past unconscious childhood or love traumas, and learning your personal empowerment skills, the mindset for success, allows you to date with an open heart or mind, no fear. It's an adventure. You're meeting new people. This is fun. This is cool, because you trust yourself. You trust your own decisions. You know what you want. You know the questions you're going to ask. You know very quickly, yes or no, by date 1 or 2. And you're able to enter a new relationship feeling very confident and consciously aware. And that's really critical for establishing a relationship based on interdependency. So I wanted to go over that because, like I said, codependency was such a part of the toxic relationship that most people did experience. Okay, part 4. Oh my gosh, guys, covering a lot tonight. Are you learning some things? Put it in the chat if you're learning some things, and this is helpful for you. I hope so. Right now, I want to take a brief pause and give you an invitation. Thank you, guys. I'm glad it's helpful. Thank you. And invite you to explore the singles group that is coming up starting March 21st. It's called the Life and Love Transformation Group for Singles, and for those in relationship that are single but questioning, should I stay or go? And when we do the next section, which is the art and psychology of dating, I wanted to do that after you see what the group is, because that's such a part of what we do the whole time. Okay, so this is a new group that's been made out of Dating to Mating. And the reason, I don't know, I just want to see more people have love. I am just really like wanting to give so much from my heart. I love all these stories that are coming in from all my graduates. And I want more people to take advantage of this and learn this system, because it's just so amazing. I guess it's, my legacy, right? So I'm like, what can I do to really make this a no-brainer for people, that they're like, oh my God, yes, I want to do this. So that's what I created this year. And it's a new group program, but based around dating to mating and the mindset for success and trauma recovery skills. So it's all combined into one. So the program does include this whole personal growth and transformation, and then finding healthy love. Okay, so why is this group different? And instead of me reading this, I'm going to share this on a screen. This is the modalities of what I have created, of what I teach from over many, many years. Like I said, I've been doing transformation work starting as a professor in business, actually, teaching promotions and marketing at age 22 at Gannon University in Erie. Then I started my talent business and was starting with people that had very low self-esteem and doubts, eating disorders, because I wanted to be a model. And I started the mindset work right away. Where you see initials is all training and licenses and years of use and expertise. So this group is different because of my modality. It's over 23 different modalities in my teaching. So from clinical trauma specialist to psychotherapist with 22 years of success, being certified as a coach, certified in mindset work, licensed addictions counselor, creator of the checklist, and knowing this work from years of research, a business coach, NLP, emotional intelligence tools, neuroscience, and brain-based trauma healing, spiritual philosophy. I've been studying spirituality since my teens, grew my children up with this, and it's so empowering for kids. I can't even begin to tell you guys, this is the basis of my daughter's successes, all this that I'm teaching you. Experimental group learning exercises, positive psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy when I talk about unconscious and conscious awareness, forgiveness techniques. As Ola said, we have one exercise called Rewriting the Story, which is spiritual forgiveness, conscious and empowered communication skills, conflict management, spiritual divine meditation, and breath work, which is so important, releasing the trauma and bringing the cortisol levels down, sexual confidence so that you feel amazing in intimacy, the art and psychology of dating. That's why I'm doing that afterwards, because this is a big part of this program. Relationship communication and how to sustain it, that whole communications that I was explaining to you earlier. My experience as a talent agent, and I was a fashion stylist in 2 large department stores in Philadelphia. I did the catalogs. Remember when they had fashion catalogs sent out in the mail? So I put all the looks together for that. So when you're on dating profiles, you don't look like everybody else. You're going to look amazing. And I just met someone recently who was one of the top 2 photographers in the country. His name's Kevin, an amazing man who just bought a castle in Paris. And we're talking about having a retreat there. And I said, oh my God, to have like pictures around the castle for my ladies to feel like magnificent and sexy, and for their online profiles, just like, this is the kind of things that I want to do. And he's on board with it. So that's post-COVID. That's something we're going to talk about. It's just gorgeous. Doing the styling for you, personal training with over 12 coaches. I have that. So if any of you have career goals to grow your coaching business, or a career, or changing your career, I've been doing job coaching since the age of 22, and I've learned from the best, whether it's Lisa Sachovich or John Lee Dumas for podcasts. And I had a writing coach that taught me how to become a #1 bestseller. So I've had all these coaches I invested $350,000 in. You don't have to do that. I can teach you the best of the best. So that's why career is a big part of this. Anyone that wants a new career or to change what they're doing. And then I get you, because I've had the personal childhood and love trauma experiences and gotten on the other side of the rainbow, where you will be too. Okay, so that's why my program is different. Not everybody has these modalities. Okay, who is this group for? It's for singles, men, women, straight, LGBTQ. Why? Because love is love. Childhood trauma impacts all of us. There is no difference. There is no prejudice. What happens at a young age can happen at an old age. My guy, Bob, was 73 when he came in here. His 4th wife divorced him. He said, I'm going to die alone. I'll have no love in my life. Everybody hates me. That was stuck in victim mode. So I could recognize that right away. I'm like, Bob, you willing to learn something different, to feel amazing about your life? Since then, he graduated. He's with the same woman for 5 years. They were doing cruises around the world. He said, Riana, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And his story is on the longer testimonials. It's really adorable. I got to have him on my podcast, because he's just larger than life. His energy just shines. That's what happens when you get this training. Okay, so it's for everyone that wants to feel better about themselves, their life, attract emotionally healthy love, be done of the toxic love, be very confident about what that looks like, want to improve your career. It's an overall life and love transformation. That's why it's called that. If you desire engagement, marriage, and a family, like Leah, and I'll play her tape next. She goes, I want that. I'm just dating guys that want to hook up. They might be successful. I have a lot of chemistry with them. I'm like, well, that's the first mistake. Okay, she was looking for the wrong thing. She couldn't figure out what was wrong with that. Now she's engaged, by the way. Tap into their greatest potential, be your best selves. You want more self-love, increase your confidence, self-esteem, empowerment, learn the art and science of dating successfully to attract many suitors, have the communication skills, the psychological skills to sustain those relationships, right? Have that satisfaction in your career, create a business from scratch, and bring to the group, this is important too, the knowledge that we all share this, the empathy, the understanding, the support, the compassion, because that heals too. We are each other's cheerleaders. We cheer for each other in the group. And we're often the loving family that many people didn't have. Like I said, I've done dating to mating groups before, but I'm just embellishing it. So you will hear from some people that have been in there. As a matter of fact, I will share Leah's experience in her, we call it DTM group. And the cool thing is it's DTM plus more.
Everything I learned in the first session, I was like, oh my God, I've always needed something like this. I wish it happened sooner, but I'm thankful that it's happening now. For me, was the dating part. I think I had been closed off to it. I was in a very long-term relationship and I really didn't want to. And I think you helped us so much. I've given myself so much to this program. I better do this one thing. And honestly, that's how I met my now significant other. So he's my fiance now. His name is Ben. He is phenomenal. I think it's interesting because we had an exercise where we had to really write what we think the right person for us and what are some attributes we want in a person. And he had everything plus more things that I could ever want.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever met such a great match to who I am ever. Obviously, I don't want to say I did this class and this happened, but I think it really did. I think it's like so many things happen after this course for me. But I think the big thing is just, starting to plan a future with someone else and starting to talk about family and buying a home and all these really things that I only wish that I could have when I was taking the class. So it feels like a full circle. And I think being happy in my personal life kind of overshadows everything else. The part of investing in yourself and self-care and mental health, it could change your life. I'm so thankful that I reached out to you and grateful that you're like, let's do this group thing. I think you would be a great fit. Without that, I really, truly, honestly don't think I would be here today talking to you, engaged and happy in my relationship.
That's the kind of stories that just keep coming in and coming in and coming in. And that's why it's so amazing that I love what I do and love working with you guys. Yeah, I get it. Everybody's a little shut down and fearful of dating because of their horrible toxic experience. But the growth that you do gently over time, that's why it's a 4 to 6 month program when I work with someone, because trauma healing takes a while. The details about what's included in this amazing group program. And again, I think it's going to be best if I bring it up on paper. And Leah is so sweet. She's so amazing. And, she didn't want to do online dating in the worst way. And that's what she said. I better do this one thing because I invested my time and you said I was ready. And she actually happened to meet her fiance online. But I rewrote the whole profile, changed up all her pictures, made a world of difference. This is what you get in the Life and Love Transformation Coaching. It is starting March 21st, a Monday, and every other week we meet. Actually, it was a 4-month program. But what I'm doing as one of the bonuses, I'm making 2 months for free. I've never done that before, but I just want more time with you guys as you're out there dating. So I know that you're successful and you're practicing these skills. So now it's a 6-month program. First hour of your meeting is trauma recovery, mindset skills, dating skills. The second part is Q&A, personal concerns, how's it going? So that's how a group would work in the second hour. It includes the full Dating to Mating program, which is on my online school. It's a 5-module that has audios, videos, and a 90-page notebook, all based on my research. These tests are from the workbook. So it's not like it's hard. It's yes, no, check off 1 to 10, but you're learning from each worksheet. Each worksheet is very profound in what it teaches you. So how you answer is how I instruct you. When you go into the link to look at this further, you're going to see everything that's included to Dating to Mating, but this is just the general statement that is in there. I am giving 30 minutes of private coaching for everyone over 6 months. I've never done that before. This is part of the bonuses. I want to work with you one-on-one. I want to see how you're doing. And this was never offered. I'm doing 2 follow-up sessions. So group will go from March to August. I'm going to meet you the end of September and then the end of October. And then you are totally ready for the holidays. The goal in setting up this now is to have summer love, because you'll be beyond the trauma stuff. You'll be out there dating summer, and then sustaining that into holiday love. It's like the best time to be in love. The trauma recovery, personal transformation, mindset, dating skills, all these skills over 6 months now, not 4. Support of a very loving, empathetic community who we all get you, because we've all been through the same. You'll have an accountability partner. I meet with each of you, so I know your past dynamics, and I set you with someone who I think is a good match for you. Like the last group, I had 2 people. One was like separated from her marriage, not knowing whether to go to or stay, and the other one was in a similar situation. So I paired them, and they're still friends for life because they get each other. So the accountability partners now, so that you're not going and complaining to your friends or your family, you're stopping that pattern and working with each other to keep each other positive and aligned and remembering each other's skills, helping that. Then I will have guest coaching appearances, because now I'll have more time for that. That was something else I had not offered before. So there's a whole lot that's included. These bonuses are outrageous. So let me show that to you. Again, never offered in a group. So it's because it's the first year. And someone says, well, I'll do it next year. It's like, I'm not going to do this next year. I'm doing this as it's the introductory offer. You are getting $17,000 in bonus. First one, 2 free months of coaching worth $5,000. Free coaching session before we even start. Now, I already have some people enrolled from January. Since they enrolled right away, every week they're getting bonus handouts until March 21st. So the sooner you enroll, the more bonuses you get. Why? Because I celebrate and reward people that take action. Why? Because saying yes to yourself and taking action always pays off. So that's a reward that they've been getting since January. 6 private coaching lessons worth $3,000. Again, I've never offered that in group coaching. You all get that. If you attend every one of your group lessons, I give you an extra session at the end. I call it your graduation award. And I got to tell you, nobody misses that. They love their coaching so much. Leah signed in from Barcelona at 3 a.m. She goes, I'm in a conference, but I'm not missing my class. So that was pretty cool. Educational resource library, that's brand new. Bonus educational handouts. Like I said, the sooner you join, the more you get. And if you pay in full for the course, I haven't told you what it is yet, but you get also free Success in Dating, which is an online program that's amazing about the do's and don'ts of dating. It's a self-study program. People have absolutely loved it. So these bonuses are worth $17,000. So what is the cost of the program? Again, I just want as many people to take advantage of this as possible. So the program investment is $3,497. But when you sign up tonight, lifeandlovetransformation.com. That is the link, and all the details will be there, more videos, the whole breakdown, what's included in DTM, dating to mating, everything is there. Tonight, when you sign up, there's an extra fast action scholarship to save another $500. So if you pay in full, it's only $2,997. That's it for 6 months of coaching, plus 2. Right? Extra sessions, plus personal coaching, plus DTM. It's an amazing, amazing offer, because I thought, let me do it so everyone can find it affordable. And if you need a payment plan, it's only $525 down and 5 payments over the 6 months of $525. Yes, that's USD. Yes. All the details are on that link, lifeandlovetransformation.com. Take a look at that. Get it tonight for $2,997. The link will be active all night for you. Again, fast action rewards. And whenever I've signed up for my coaches, I always took their fast action reward. At least it would have been 100,000. I took the fast action, it was only 85, but it's like, it was worth it. it changed my whole life. And I know that. I know coaching changes lives. And that's why, I wanted to bring you something very affordable that works over so many years, that has changed lives for so many people. And when you enroll tonight, you'll get a personal email from me tomorrow, giving you all the details. We'll set up your life and love transformation discovery session that I've been talking about. You get that included. So we're going to do that right away. And then you are on the weekly program to get bonus handouts till March. And then we start March 21st. So that's how it works. It's pretty simple. There is a bonus opportunity in there that you can see once you enroll. It's a one-time offer, and I don't even say it in the class. It's a bonus if you're on that sheet and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, seriously? Most people take the bonus because it's really, really good, but it's only offered on that page. You will never see it in my marketing, on my emails, and my website, never. So it's a one-time offer once you enroll that you can take advantage of that as well. So it's lifeandlovetransformation.com. So check it out. You can open a tab in your browser thing as we keep moving forward. Again, the reason I wanted to mention this is the next section I'm going into for you is all about stuff you're going to learn in group. Okay. We will still be doing Q&A right after this section, but I wanted to get into it. And again, you're going to get a full ebook handout on this, which is the art and psychology of dating successfully, in case I went too long because I tend to be chatty. And the other one is identifying toxic love. So you're going to get both of those when you stay to the end after Q&A. Go ahead and take a look at that as I go into this. Okay. All right. The 8 truths of the art and psychology of dating successfully. Okay. So number 1, you deserve to be loved by an emotionally healthy partner. There's nothing like the empowerment of knowing how to do it. I mean, we're not taught this, not by our parents, not in high school, not in college, not in a triple master's psychology. We weren't taught how to have emotionally healthy relationships. So when you know how, you can achieve it. The mindset part is essential to you knowing that you can have an amazing, loving partner, and you are one too. You're emotionally healthy, so you'd never settle for someone who is not. You truly believe you deserve love and to be loved and to find someone equally that adores you as you do them. This is like an agape love, which we call unconditional love. It's a deep friendship love, and that's how it starts out. And you're never unconsciously pushing love away because you're afraid. You've overcome all the self-doubts, the negative fear-based thoughts, the anxiety that's preventing you from finding this great partner. Right? Because if you're emotionally healthy, you're not going to settle for someone who's not. You're going to heal for good the negative emotions and triggers and learn this empowering self-love that brings what we call the inner light. And spirituality is a big part of this program. Most people don't really have a sense of what that is. Some do, but it's a very important part for healing and feeling amazing about yourself. So this inner light is just shining when you walk into a room, like heads turn. It just does. Second, you must be ready and available for dating and a commitment. Your soulmate is seeking you at the same time you're looking for them. Finding the love of your life will happen when you clear the space and make time for it and keep it open enough for you to fill it with what you really want. Like Leah's story, she came to me saying, my goal is I want to be engaged. I want marriage and a family. My Jamie, another graduate, just had a baby girl like last week. So marriage and a family, that was her goals when she came to me. And I love seeing their stories. Olia's story, it's just Erin was in a 7-year toxic relationship. She wanted to be engaged to the guy. I'm like, Erin, I'm seeing a lot of red flags here. Are you sure you really want this guy? I said, I'll make the engagement happen. I'll tell you everything you need to do to get engaged, but I want you to be consciously aware and ask yourself over and over, is this the one you want? So she decided, no, she didn't, thank God. But with wisdom comes, power. And she's now engaged to one of the top attorneys in the country. They have a beautiful, I think he's 8 now, 8-year-old boy. They travel around the world. They're in Dubai now. I see all her pictures on my Facebook page. So, it's story after story after story. What do you want? What do you desire? You have to name it. You got to claim it. You got to go for it. That's it. You just got to learn what to do. And once you know and you decide and you learn this, you can have the power to create the life you want. That's why it's so cool. You have to be ready. You have to decide what you want. And then that's why I said doing the dating readiness quiz, honestly, what areas do we need to look at to really change for you? And when I do your discovery session as part of group, it's included. then we say, okay, this is what I want you to focus on while we work together. All right. So everyone that signed up for January, I've already done their sessions with them. They're always already getting bonus handouts. So whoever signs up tonight, I'm going to schedule you in starting next week to do your discovery sessions with me. The goal is that you feel like you're the whole package. By the time you're ready to go out and date, you're in dating world, you've got your career lined up. And by the way, in the longer tape, Leah says she got a promotion right after she graduated from class. She moved from an apartment she wasn't crazy about into New York to the Upper Side. And she said, I loved it. I got a great promotion. So again, it's changing your whole life. She may not have come in for the job. She says, I came in for the dating part. But here she gets a promotion in business anyway, because that's how it works. We take care of everything. We look at everything, your financial affairs, your legal affairs, making sure you feel healthy, mind, body, soul. If you have weight loss goals, we look at that. Diet, exercise, everything. Do vitamin therapy for everyone. Spiritual, which is the devotion part of the 7 Ds. Being truly happy as an individual, knowing all these skills before going out to date. You've got to know them before you date. And then you're going out very confident. So number 3, honor your deepest needs and requirements. We name the requirements, wants, needs of the partner, your ideal partner. It's like your roadmap, because that helps you to be what we call the chooser. You're choosing who to love. You don't wait around waiting to be chosen. You're not wishing you're picked off the dating app. No. And it's not just dating apps. That's just one way to meet people. Here in Delray, we meet tons of people live, so I want you to have that empowerment to meet a lot of people live. That's what makes it so cool. You settle for less, you get less, so why do that? We make sure that you get the experience and the love connection you really want. And my people do not settle. They know it's a numbers game. They have the techniques of what they have to do. They just keep doing it until they find that special one. And most singles do settle the first time in a marriage. So now we're not doing that. We do not re-enter into RRS, that relationship repetition syndrome. Instead, you attract and date the type of person that you really want and desire, because it's all names. You know exactly what you want. And it's equally important that you know when someone you date is what we call a one and done. One and done date, don't see it going any further. Nice person, not for me. Right. And you know why. We don't ever ignore the red flags. We don't hope someone will change. We don't fall in love with someone potential. No. Who are they today? Who are they showing up to be? If they're not right now, why would we settle? Don't want to be stuck in a love addiction triangle, the codependency. No, life's too short to live unhappy. Honor your deepest needs, your requirements. What do you really want in your life? If you want love, then go for it. And I hate when people say, well, I'll wait. Well, what are you going to wait for? To age another 3 years? You already went to therapy for 7 years. Why would you wait? I can't even equate to that. Go for what you want. Go for your dreams. So number 4 is be your true authentic self. Be fully authentic, allowing yourself to date with an open heart and open mind to everyone, and being able to share and reveal who you are, including the parts you may not like so much, to connect. But there is an art and a science to doing this. Always want to be your authentic, real self. It's a fine art, because if you share too much early on, you can scare many people away. If you lie up front, even about your age on a dating app, my people would never do that. When I was on apps, I would never do it. Why? Because how could I trust you? You lied. I see men that lied 10 years. It's are you serious? If I wanted someone 10 years older, then I would have chosen that age category. Oh, well, what's the difference with 10 years? I said, okay, well, I'm 60 and you're 70, and you say 10 years is not a difference, although you lied and you said you were 60 on your profile. So then you would date someone and feel perfectly happy about dating someone 80 years old. And he goes, well, no, why would I want to do that? Because it's only 10 years. What's the difference? You see, so we also educate when we're out there. And that's someone wasting our time. So you can see when someone comes off as a liar right away, I wouldn't want to date them. So our people never lie about who they are, what their age is. You love me as I am, or you're not for me. You see, it's authentic. So I say never do that and never accept that. This will allow you to find and attract your soulmate who will adore you exactly as you are. And when other people, or what I call untrained coaches, tell you to be vulnerable, I like reel when I hear this. My stomach turns. This is not a good idea. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Did you ever know what the definition of vulnerability is? If you have an Alexa, you could ask her, because I asked her and I wrote it down. And I'm thinking, how could they teach people to do this? The definition of vulnerability: 1, susceptibility to attack or injury, the state of a condition of being weak or poorly defended. 2, a specific weakness in the protection surrounding someone. Or 3, a weakness which allows an attacker to reduce one's security. When you're super vulnerable, you are opening yourself to a narcissist, a sociopath, or worse. So you don't want to be vulnerable. You want to be empowered, yet honest and kind and loving and spiritual and lead from the heart. So you're still authentic. You're real. You can share what you need. But again, there's an art. What do I share? What don't I share? And there's an art to doing that. And in my classes, we talk about that. If you had some extreme trauma, when do you bring it up? You don't bring it up in date 1. You know, you don't really know who this person is. Why should you trust them and be vulnerable? And then he uses or abuses you. It makes no sense. Like, I never tell someone be vulnerable. No, I say be authentic and empowered. Totally different. Okay. And because I'm a trauma recovery coach, most people took that advice. Oh, I'll be vulnerable and just open myself and let this person walk all over me. And that's what happened. Narcissists are attracted to the vulnerable. That's what's happening out there. So again, you don't want to do that. Be diligent in getting the training credentials of any coach you choose to work with. The best and the most trained coaches will not be the cheap ones. This is just one example of wrong information that's floating around out there. And this is what causes people to attract lousy partners and dangerous situations. So I am very protective of my people when they're dating, even my men. One of my guys recently engaged, get married. His girlfriend cheated on him, Dan, lovely young man, 26. He was supposed to work in the family business after college, and they kind of berated him and put him in the lowest level, and he hated that. And his psychiatrist actually recommended me, and he was on antidepressants. I said, you don't need this. What do you really want in your life? And he goes, I want to be a children's book illustrator. I said, you draw? And he goes, I do. And I said, I want you to bring me your portfolio. He drew Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like you would swear, like Scooby-Doo and Flintstones and Jetsons. And by the time he was done with me, we had his illustrations in 13 children's books. That's how it works. And now he's happily engaged. And he says, Riana, like, she is incredible. I did everything you told me. He goes, I'm selling commercial real estate. I'm making a fortune. And I'm doing everything you told me to do. And it's because of you that I'm so successful. And he's now probably about 31. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I said it works for everyone if you take it seriously. He did not know what to do in love, and he was shy. So he was a little bit more vulnerable to someone that hurt him, a narcissist woman. So this can happen to anyone. And we had to teach him empowerment and the skills of what to do so he would not be hurt again in that way. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone that's really trained and really knows what they're doing. Number 5. True love requires action, trust, risk, determination, and desire. Do what you've always done. You're going to get what you've always got, right? You've got to change something, guys. You've got to invest in yourself and get the skills that you need. You know, your understandable, unhealed need for security and feel safe. I get that. I truly, truly get that, because I always had that too. But I learned I can always make myself feel safe. I don't count on someone outside of myself to make me feel safe, right? To hope that love somehow finds you, that just doesn't work. You have to make that happen. And I don't mean in a forceful way. In a way, your light attracts it to happen. You do it without even trying. It's just amazing how it happens. You're finding your soulmate requires leaving your comfort zone, putting yourself out there into the dating world and taking that emotional risk. And like I said, I understand that there are real fears around dating and having low trust towards people, those with trauma. But if you really want love in your life, you have to say yes to yourself and say, I am ready to change. I wasn't happy last year. I haven't been happy for the past 3 years. I haven't had love for 5 years after the marriage, or whatever your scenario is. You've got to change something to get love and to feel amazing about yourself. And it starts with saying yes to yourself and self-love first, right? Saying yes to swift action to invest in the skills you need to learn what to attract these great relationships. And honestly, don't feel bad because no one taught us how to have this, right? No one taught us these skills. We learned by fairy tales, right? And romance novels like Kiss the Handsome Prince and You'll Be Happily Ever After. We all believed in that. That's the chemistry story. Well, dang, that didn't work. Once, twice, 3 times. How many times is chemistry going to fail us? And then we keep doing the same thing. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Yes. So that's why there is a better way. And you really want to learn exactly what those skills are when it comes to attracting a partner, being the whole package, knowing exactly what to do, what to say, how to behave on your dates. There's many reasons why, like my singles find engagement, marriage, love, because they know exactly what to do. Number 6, identify and embrace your progress on your path in life. So those with unhealed trauma often are extremely negative and never see the positive side of things. They rarely give themselves compliments or celebrate the wins in their life. Those with a mindset for success love personal growth. We're always learning. I told someone today, like every year I take on a coach. And you should know coaching investments 100% tax deductible in the USA and in many other countries, by the way. So every year, I love growth. Like I was just at Grant Cardone's 3-day 10X event for business. And that's where I met the guy with the castle in Paris. Very handsome Kevin. And I met an oil tycoon from Texas. And I met a winery guy who bought a winery. I think it was Virginia. The second day, we end up sitting next to each other at lunch again. He goes, I'm so glad you're here. I bought a bottle of wine for us to share. So it's like, yeah, it's so easy to meet amazing people when you put yourself in amazing places. So I love self-growth. I do something every year because I know it's technically free. It's a tax deduction. And because of all my credentials, you investing in Life and Love Transformation Group is an investment that's tax deductible. Now, if you're someone that doesn't prefer groups, what I'm also doing tonight, and I told a lovely lady that signed up for VIP, which means individual coaching, where you have email and text access to me. If you're someone like my celebrities would prefer to work individually, I have some sports figures, they do a VIP program, right? So if you're someone that has high profile in business and would rather be with me one-on-one, just email me at, my email is Riana Milne at Gmail. It's just my name. And I will offer you 10% off the VIP program of your choice. And there's 3 different levels, but one for singles, one for couples. And certainly, if that's something that you desire, then let me know and I will extend that 10% offering for the next 24 hours. So just email me, yes, Riana, talk to me about this, and then I'll give you a call. Just give me your phone number or your email. We'll set up a time. Practicing the self-care where you feel like $1 million, because like I said, I was at this convention. I attracted many great guys, multimillionaires. Wasn't too hard. Just say hello, right? Let your light shine. But your mindset and mental health is everything, as Leah shared with you. And that helps you look sexy and feel sensational. And that's why it's so easy to meet people. So you get you back, but even better. Like you're just going to feel amazing about yourself. All right, item 6, identify and embrace your progress and your path in life. Again, the personal growth, saying yes with no guilt, never regretting investing in yourself because it's growth, it's joy, it's love. This is what we're in the world for, right? Because when you feel more love, you reach more people with your purpose, with your soul, with what you desire to grow in your life. That could be your business or in a volunteer capacity. We get what we want, but without ever hurting anyone. It's not a selfish thing. We live large because we want no regrets upon death. We want happiness now. And we may not have had a lot of happiness when we were kids or existed in the toxic marriage or when I was working 5 jobs to pay my mom back and raise my girls to be successful so that they didn't have to count on a man for success. They did it by themselves by their 20s. Out of the house at 19, successful, making tons of money by their mid-20s. They could do it by themselves. So this is the thing, we don't hurt anyone ever. We're spiritually based people, but we clearly see our growth, our progress using the mindset and goal setting systems that I talked about in the first class. And we are like a family. So when I write my emails, I often say, hey, email family, because people have been with me for 22 years. You know, they're on my Facebook page. A lot of them are all grown up and parents now. So it's really, really awesome. All right, number 7, embrace the unknown as an adventure. We love adventure, right? We travel globally to new places. We just say hello to strangers, new people, anytime, anywhere, with a big smile on our faces. And we're confident to do that. And this is how we meet many of our partners. It's just by saying hello, not by being on apps, but being in life, being out there wherever we are. Of course, dating apps have become more popular with COVID. I get it. People were isolated and it's a good option, but it's not the only option, right? And still, you're going to have to show up on that date eventually. But there is an art and a science to writing an amazing profile. I've done all the study around it. Like I said, I'm a stylist. I can help you get your look together. Many of my people do hair coloring and cuts and makeovers just because they're ready for that change. And they're now saying, yes, let's go for a change. I want to feel better. I want to feel different. Many have found their loves that way. Leah did. But anyway, it's just another accessory of a way to meet people, but it's not the only one. But you want it to be amazing and you want to stand out. Number 8, you'll learn to trust yourself, and maybe that's for the first time. Spiritual faith in a higher power and in yourself is a big part of this program. Most of my clients have low trust because they couldn't trust the ones they're supposed to love first, which is their parents. That led them to shutting down or doubting their abilities, not being able to communicate their feelings. And this really impacted their identity, right? You know, some people use sex for attraction or to get love, and sex does not equal love. Chemistry dies out fast, making many couples miserable. You have to know sex is not love. Sex comes with love. Totally different. Couples that have this shallow foundation fall apart pretty quickly. Sex is a part of a loving, emotionally healthy relationship, but when you have self-love, you have self-trust, and you don't sleep around. In Buddhism, we call this the body temple. We just don't give it to anyone. Hell no. It is a shared gift of making love. That's why they call it making love. So that has gotten so askew with people over the past 20 years, 30 years. You want to have your lovemaking after a solid foundation, which includes building trust over time. And it's all interrelated. So it's essential to heal that past trauma, that longing for love, the love traumas, and love yourself so you don't look outside of yourself for that love. And then the last part is forgive yourself. Many people have guilt if they broke up the marriage, like I had to do with my ex. But, you know, I took my little girls at 4 and 5, and it's like, I'm better on my own. Can't get a loan. I had a bankruptcy at 26. There was business decisions for $750,000. I think I forgot that. And owed my mom $200. But I knew mentally I was stronger and better without the toxic person in my life. And I could be clear and focused and grow the model and talent business. And I made it a career I just loved and changed so many lives by having them reach their goals. Don't have guilt. If someone's abusive, you are saving yourself and your children. You want to do everything in your power to model emotionally healthy being, how you talk, how you act, believing in your children's dreams. Right? Like I said, you might learn mindset skills, then you take them and teach your children. The gift of this life and love transformation coaching is not only for yourself, but for your kids. And again, completely tax deductible. So technically free. You can write it off over 1, 2, 3 years. It doesn't matter. The last thing, work your goal setting system daily, creating focus and energy you need to be productive and creating the life you want. We do goal setting in module 2. Of dating to mating, because we declare what we want, what we desire, and the whole 6 months we're working towards that. Step by step, not fast, not stressful, step by step. It's amazing how the world aligns once you declare what you want. It again is a spiritual concept, but we break the goals down, get you motivated, take away the fears, the doubts that you can reach this. And this is how all my people are reaching such great accomplishments. Little Carmen, like I said, I met her at 11 in the model and talent business. She goes, everything I've become, I learned when I was 11 and 12, and I'm still using it. I was teaching mindset for people that wanted to be models and had doubts. Oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this enough, that. And I'm like, no, this is commercial modeling. Anyone can do commercial modeling. My oldest model was Hildy. She was 83 years old. She made a fortune. Billboards, senior banking, rehab centers. And her husband's there, you're crazy, you're throwing away your money. She goes, I've always wanted to model. If not now, when? And she did it. And she was one of my busiest booked and paid models in my company. If you believe it, you can do it. And you just need the skills. Okay, and the last one is surround yourself with loving support. Me as your coach, I will always be loving and supportive of you. I get your journey. I know the fears, the doubts. I've been doing this a very long time, but I'm going to gently push you sometimes, like I did Leah, to get out there and date. You know, she was encouraged enough and came far enough that she was ready to take that step. But back then, DTM was only 4 months. You know, they all had that level of success, but now you guys have 6 months. So I can really keep an eye on your dating, and we can share the stories, the good, the bad, what you're learning. I can coach around that. Again, you have so much that is really offered to you tonight at lifeandlovetransformation.com. And we all will support your goals in group, reaching your goals, your self-growth, your personal transformation, who you dream to be today and in your future, and for taking real and proactive action every step of the way, having the guts to change your life and be amazing over 6 months. Let me go over the summary of what's included, and then you guys can ask me your questions. To summarize, it's over $30,000 in value, $17,000 in bonuses, including the time-proven dating to mating system, the online course with a 90-page notebook, audios, videos, 2 months free in the group, plus 2-month check-ins beyond the 6 months, plus 30 minutes of individual coaching per month for everybody, private coaching, pre-program coaching, that's the discovery session. I was talking about how important that is tonight. You get that included. Bonus reports once you sign up, which would be tonight. Your bonus reports start this weekend. I usually send it out every Friday or Saturday when my schedule slows down. So you are now on that rotation that you keep getting those bonus reports until group starts. Guest coaches and free when you pay in full, the $2,997. That includes the $500 Fast Action Scholarship, right? So $2,997 is all it is instead of $3,497. So save another $500. And again, if anyone wants a VIP private experience with me, just email me, rianamilne.com, and that's 10% off this week while we set up your session and figure out which program that you would prefer and which one you need. There are Q&A questions over on that page as well, but just briefly, what's the deadline to enroll? When it's full, it's done. So I can't tell you the deadline date, but the strong stop date is March 21st when it starts, Monday night. But it's first come, first served. And we already have people enrolled. So I don't like real big groups. I don't want a group of 200 people because I'm all about service and making sure you get your transformation. So I probably will not take more than 20. So first come, first serve. You want in, take action, get in. Will the class be recorded? If you have to miss, yes. Obviously, I say always try to be there in class. It's the best experience where I can work with you one-on-one, answer your questions. You're really part of the group dynamic. But if you have to, yes, every class will be recorded in case you have to miss. But keep in mind, one of the bonuses is if you make every class, you get a graduation gift. What type of support we get during the program? You know me, I'm all about education, transformation. It is my reputation on my program. I take a lot of pride in the research that I have come up with, and I am so insistent that it works for everyone. I am there, and then the group is just also people that have been through similar experience like you. 1 hour is educational, the other hour is Q&A, and then there's going to be some bonus coaching guests come in as well. How do you know it'll work for me? I've been doing it, mindset work, 40 years. Like I said, I work for my models, actors, singers, dancers, and my coaching clients. I have been doing love coaching since 2009. I have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials. If you'd like to see the long version, you're welcome to. You can see the videos on different places, my podcast, of course. But it's a system. I know it works. It's amazing. I am just so thrilled that my research is helping so many around the globe. It's such an honor that I get to do this. So it's just important that you decide. You have to show up. Obviously, if you don't show up to class, you don't do your worksheets, then I can't guarantee that it's going to work for you. You just have to be like invested. You have to be there, right? You have to do the worksheets. That's it. I do the rest. We do it together. We're a team. So decide that, you're going to invest that time and energy in yourself. You deserve it. What if you don't have the time? We choose how much time we have in our life. We choose what we choose to do, to work, to play, to grow, and invest in our growth. So we choose that. Question, what if I don't have the money? You find the money when you want something. Did I have the $85,000 lying around for Lisa? No, I pulled it from 5 different sources. I found the money. It was worth going into my retirement funds. I found the money because I wanted my life different. I didn't want to be stuck in a box office as a psychotherapist chasing insurance companies. Didn't want to do it. I want to do a system that I knew could really, really change lives, which was my coaching system. So it was worth it to me. That's what you have to decide. I'm worth it. My life is worth it. I have these goals. I have these dreams. 2997 is an awesome, awesome investment. And again, completely tax deductible. In 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it ends up being technically free. Why pay taxes? Invest in a course instead, right? That's why I invest in my growth every year. Okay, so just in summary, the clock is ticking on your life. How many years have you dealt with the pain and the aggravation of dating not successfully, or ending up with toxic guys, or not finding quality people to date? What life do you desire? Are you ready to have the love you deserve, or you want to keep sitting in on free summits and podcasts and hoping for the best and reading 100 of self-help books? I read those too. Didn't help. What helped? Research, science, understanding what was really going on, because I knew I could not change what I did not understand. Leah or Olia or the other people that said yes to themselves and said, I'm worth it, and changed their life. I hope my clients inspire you to do the same thing. So that is the end of the formal presentation tonight. What questions can I answer for you guys?
Question. I want to enroll, but I'm hesitant because I don't do well in groups. And I'm not sure the level of this intense 6 months. Is it mostly group or?
Yes. Well, you have your individual session with me once a month. But the way I run the group, I don't put my group with an assistant coach. It's me. So if you feel that, I'm able to connect with you, that I have the passion that I'm going to help you and make sure you're okay, these are small groups on purpose. I don't want, like I said, I join groups where there's 80 people in a group. I don't want that. I want the transformation for everyone. And most people coming in are a little shy, right?
I'm not shy. I just historically get invisible in a group. I do, how people talk about whether you're the life of the party, you're out 20 people and you're just swinging.
Yeah.
I need that one-on-one. So I'm trying to figure it out.
I think you're going to be really fine. All ages, all types in groups. I actually have an accountability partner in mind for you already.
You do?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah.
That's cool.
I think you'd really, really enjoy her. So there's so much support, and you're going to learn so much, and it's step by step, and everybody's new, but the common element, it's Riana, and I'm really down to earth. I'm really fun. I do like to have a good time, but I do take the education seriously, obviously. So we do it a step at a time. So I'm glad you shared that with me, because I will make sure that I kind of keep an eye on you. We'll first meet for your discovery session. I want to know what you want to work on, and you need to know what we're going to focus on. And then you start getting the supportive handouts.
Okay.
And then we meet in class. Good. I welcome it. And I will email you tomorrow and the other details. I want to set you up for that discovery session, early next week, because I have another class Saturday.
Okay.
So, I got to rest my voice a little bit. I'm feeling a little, but yes, I'm really glad to meet you and glad that you're joining me. I will definitely make sure that you're feeling safe and empowered.
All right, cool. So do I wait to hear from you tomorrow, or how do I do it?
Yeah, I'll put the link in here again. It's just lifeandlovetransformation.com. Just open that website, and the form is right there. It says enroll now.
Okay.
Remember, I said there's a special offer in there. So that's the link. Just click on it. It should open up another tab, and just read through everything. I mean, I showed it to you tonight, but read through it. It just says enroll here in a purple button, and it will make you that special offer. You can say yes or no to the offer, either keep it yes or turn it off to a no, and then enroll. It's pretty simple. And we'll pick the time for your discovery session.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go do it.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions about their tests or, okay, here's one. Renee, thank you. Divorce was finalized in December. Is now a good time to get the ball rolling, or do I need some other personal healing trauma work before dating again? Girl, you need the trauma healing work with me, right? Now's a perfect time because your divorce is done. And some people will say, well, I'll just wait. And then all of a sudden the man moves on and he's married and you're waiting. Like, don't wait. And I always said this after my first one, my success is my best revenge. And I didn't mean it in a mad or mean or angry way, but it was like my driving force to saying, I will be successful. I will get my girls out of this small town. I will get them worldly. I will make sure they are successful and happy. It was like part of my goal. And now is a perfect time because you will be doing the, amen, right? You will be doing the healing work for yourself. And do you have kids? Because it's so good if you learn this right now and help your children heal from the divorce if this was a part of it. 2 boys, 6 and 7. If there was some trauma dynamics, like a lot of yelling and anger in the household, you will want to know how to give them more empowerment. It was like when Alexi was 5, she says, I want to put water wells in Africa, Mom. And I'm like, I believe you will. You can do whatever you choose to, babe. Like whatever you desire, you can do this. So, and I worked at the elementary level, kindergarten, all the way up through college in schools. So when I get to know you during your discovery session with me, I want to talk to you a little bit more about your kids and what they might have witnessed or heard, so we can help their healing too. But the best thing for your kids is a very empowered and confident mom. When a mother is happy, the children will be happy. Super important. So yeah, I would say now is the time for your healing, trauma healing, making sure your kids are okay. Obviously the father will probably still be in their life. So mine used to torture me to my kids. And how do you handle that? Do you get defensive and try to defend yourself from these lies? You know how I handled it? Girls, you're really smart. You know, mommy loves you and I'll always be here for you, whatever you need. And so to be calm and not fight back and try to get involved with this cheap drama takes a lot of strength. And believe me, I still have to have the strength when I run into the man. So, I mean, it's not easy, but we can do it. You have to do it for the kids. Let's get you enrolled. Reach out to me tomorrow. Let's get you into your discovery session, which is free. Don't pay for it on my website. It's included in your bonus here. Part of your goals is to make sure your children are going to be all right. We're going to really build a very strong mother-child bonds with your kids. So no matter what the other does from the outside, it's not going to impact you 3. I look forward to working with you. It'd be awesome. Just go to that link, lifeandlovetransformation.com. And it shows you everything I showed you tonight, the bonuses, the breakdowns. What other questions do I have? That was a great one. Thank you. Yeah, right after divorce, jump into this for sure. Let's get you, feeling amazing by your summertime, loved by the holiday seasons.
Yeah, and I have a quick question. So the sessions will be recorded, both your training and then the Q&A as well. And will our Q&A part of the training be available to the public, or what kind of privacy do we have? Yeah.
In the class, right?
Yeah.
It's only a class tape, not for the public at all. It's only if you miss. And I got to tell you, the majority of the people do not miss, but I tape it just in case, right? There's always emergencies, but it's every other Monday. And people love it so much, like they just open their calendar and they schedule off, and that's it. Then they schedule everything else around their class.
What if I'm special needs and I need to review the material? So I need to be in class and I also need to look at it again.
Okay.
Is that a possibility? Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, because some people, they get the advice that they want, but they weren't able to take notes because they're focusing on the answers. And it's like, will you send that back out? It's like, I just send it no matter what. And like in any group, there's a big trust factor, right? So it's like, I am trusting you all in this group that this is for you all. That's it. Not for your sister, not for your friend, not for anything else, right? The bond and the trust factor of the group.
I so appreciate you. Thank you for bringing it to the world.
Thank you. Thank you for staying tonight. You guys, I want you to make sure you all get your bonus reports too. So I have to give you a magic question. I'll make it a little personal too. Of the assessments, which one was most eye-opening to you? And what did you learn from it? Of the 4 free love tests, so childhood trauma, ACOA, dating readiness, or the red flag warning. Just pick one test and say, I learned this and this was a real eye-opener for me. That could be a good question for you. If you want a strategy session, you can sign up for it right at homepage also of my website. Don't forget to write me so you get your ebooks. Everything's like Riana Milne. It's pretty simple. Milne@gmail. And that way I can turn around and email it back to you. That's why I have you email me the answer to the question. It's like, boom, just here's your books back. That's the way I handle it. So just then I know you were here to the end, and I want to make sure you get your free gifts. And if any of you say I'd rather work one-on-one in a VIP capacity, then email me also. Let me know that. You'll save 10% for being in class tonight. It is amazing to have the total focus on you. But of course, it's much more of an investment. So the group is outstanding. And all I need you to do is show up and do your worksheets. And you will get the transformation that you desire. And the beautiful thing is it's complete tax deduction in most countries. Canada, I know it is for my coaching because I have a lot of Canadians. But any accountant can tell you. And because of all my certifications, you can either write it off under mental health, because I'm a licensed mental health counselor, or under business coaching. Hi, Sarah. How you doing, sweetie? You want to add anything? You're in the midst of the program about mindset. She's one of my diamond level VIPs, Sarah. If there was anything you want to share or anything about what you're learning.
Sure, I can share a little bits here and there.
Okay.
For those who don't know me, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm one of her VIP diamond students. Honestly, when I found Riana, it's honestly something that I was bawling my eyes out to her, telling everything that I was struggling with personally, emotionally, and she is literally God sent. And I came from a person where it's I've seen so much change just from being in her class. So if you're one of those people who are looking for some change in your life, doesn't matter where you are or where you're at in life, she's definitely worth the investment. Yeah, that's literally all I have to say. If you're one of those people who is looking for some change, whether in relationship or your life, for me, it was mostly, I was looking for a huge life change. And yeah, she's definitely worth the investment. So that's all I have to say.
Hugs, honey. Sarah is such a beautiful soul. Her whole life's ahead of her. And I'm very honored that mom had her in coaching. And she went through a lot of trauma herself. It was something that could have kept a lot of people very stuck. And she's very courageous in taking on her new changes. And it's not always easy, especially coming from trauma. Beautiful young lady. Her world is ahead of her. She's saying yes to everything as we move forward. And I'm really proud of your progress, sweetie. You're doing great. Keep it up. Thank you for sharing too. That was also gutsy. Good for you, girl. Anyone else? I'm here to help as long as you need me. Of course, if you have any personal questions, certainly email me those at that time. I'll be glad to answer them for you. I am not taking the page down, but all these great promotions. Okay, it's a class offer for that fast action scholarship. And yeah, enjoy yourself on the page. There's lots to look at, lots to read, testimonials, videos, but say yes to yourself. Like Sarah said, she invested at the highest level. She is a diamond client. She's saying, her large investment is worth it. And this is a group investment of only $2,997, complete tax deductions, 6 months, 6 private coachings, 2 extra months of check-in. I mean, there's just so much built into this that's what I said. Yes, I need it. I deserve it. Let's do it. And I look forward to meeting all of you that are signing up for group. If any of you have any questions at any time, I'm not so far away. RianaMilne.com. This is my life, my purpose, and my legacy. So I thank you for joining me tonight. I love you, and God bless, and have a beautiful evening. You take care. Bye.
Do you feel like you have tried everything? Self-help books, therapy, relationship summits, retreats, online courses, podcasts. But you still struggle with toxic love, attracting narcissistic partners, ongoing anxiety, depression, codependency, love addiction, stress, moodiness, lack of hope, feeling stuck in your career, and you just can't seem to get love right. It's time to heal your unconscious behavioral patterns caused by unhealed childhood trauma. I'm Riana Milne, the love trauma recovery expert and certified life and love coach who helps thousands around the world, and I can help you too. I specialize in helping adults heal from unconscious childhood and love relationship traumas, emotional triggers, and dysfunctional behavioral patterns, which have been impacting them negatively in life, love, or business, to transform and create the life they desire and to have the love they deserve. Talk to me today at rianamilne.com and get the free ebook below to learn more.